Hello, 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 and welcome once again to Meatballcraft Dimensional Ascension. Happy Birthday Notch edition, which is the Easter egg for today because it is June 1st, which is, I believe, Notch's birthday, and I think everyone would be seeing that on their Minecraft launcher today. Happy birthday, Notch. Happy birthday, Notch. Now, some things have changed, and I, of course, as usual, have a backpack of goodies and things to get to and be involved with and do. But before we do that, we have to go immediately and take care of something. This is because I made a mistake last recording, and it cost me severely. And I did not realize at the time that it was, in fact, my mistake. I made the error. It was on me. That ritual to upgrade the key failed because I messed up. It certainly wasn't Sagnagh's fault. I blamed Abyssalcraft. I blamed the transmutation orb not having a full charge. That was not the reason why that ritual failed. The ritual failed because I didn't have enough potential energy to power it. Whenever you upgrade one of the keys to the next tier, to open up the next dimension in Abyssalcraft, it requires a fully charged book. We had just used the book previously to summon and fight two bosses, so of course the book was not fully charged, right? So it failed because we did not have what we needed to finish the charge. Don't worry about the huge amount of cobalt and ardite that is smelting inside of this. I'm making manulin. We'll touch on all of the things that have changed. Whoa, it's a little laggy. Just a second. There we go. We'll touch on all the things that have changed, all the things that are different when I get back. But currently the plan is we're going to go procure the things we need. Yes, there are changes. I'm aware there's a pillar in the middle of my my foyer. We're going to go get the things we need to make the key and upgrade it again. And then I'm going to put the book back and begin charging it, okay, to refresh it, because we're going to have to summon Asura again. I did woot Asura, the dragon that talked when it died. It did get wooted, however, I turned it into a thing and tried using that to see if I could get more eyes, and it did not work. So I assume that the Eye of Asura is a special drop from Asura, and you have to do the ritual to summon him in order to make that work. So we've got two things we're going to do. First of all, I actually haven't set a home portal here just yet. Home. We'll do that, and we'll make it white. Now, here's the thing. In order to make this work, I'm going to teleport far away, because I don't know exactly how this works in the Abyssalcraft, but in vanilla Minecraft, the Eyes of Ender take you towards the nearest stronghold. I don't know if... I assume these Power Stone trackers are probably programmed to do the same thing, but for the special dungeon. So I'm going to teleport far away. Okay. We're going to go far, far away. And we will then start using them so they lock onto a different one. So we're going to make one called Test. Okay. Okay, we now have a test marker here. And then I'm going to go ahead and do one of these. We're just going to go, oh, I don't know. There. And that should be high enough that I shouldn't telefrag myself into a wall. But we'll see. So we're going to teleport to that. That is a blind teleport. Hopefully it works out for me. And actually, before we get too involved, I do have the Scanner, right? Is it in my backpack somewhere? I'm not seeing the scanner. It's under my tools. Yeah, we got it. It's under tools. I have it. Okay, that's fine. Let's teleport to test. Okay, nice. It looks like we don't have to worry about slamming into anything unconditionally. There are some Shoggoths here that I should probably kill for their flesh, but we have other better things to be doing. So the Power Stone trackers work exactly like Eyes of Ender do in the overworld. So we're going to start. Okay, we've got a lock on one. Okay, looks like we didn't get to recover that one. Also, let me put my Ring of Magnetism on so we can try and magnetize them towards us if they break. Let's fly a little bit in this direction, and then we will throw another. I could have done this off screen. Some would argue that perhaps I should have. I felt bad, however. I feel a little bad about having to cheat to get the, was it the Iron Umber Golem that dropped his thing in the lava? I did like a little bit of research on that, and apparently there's like a way to get more scarabs, but it's convoluted. You have to make Umber Golem statues, and then the statues are themselves able to be crafted into like an item that can summon the Umber Golem of that type. But we didn't have everything we would have needed to make the statue, or to make the lure. Like it would have been, we wouldn't have been able to do it on screen, right? The only way I was finishing that would have been if I had the way I did it. So I feel a little bad about it. I regret the necessity of it. I feel somewhat guilty, but I just want to make people aware of it. You can, I think I marked it, yeah, spawn Iron Umber Golem if you surround one of these Umber Golem statues with blocks of iron. But these are themselves made from 2 claws, a head, a torso, and legs. The head is made from ancient rock, stag beetle mandibles, and reinforced compound goggles that are themselves made from reinforced exoskeletal plates and compound goggles. And like there's like a whole list of crafting and crafting on crafting you have to do to. Wait a minute, did it just go straight down? Are we there? Hang on, we might be there. Wait a minute. Oh, it's back this way. Fascinating. Okay. We must have flown right over it. It must be right here. That's convenient. I was worried we would have to travel really far to get it. Okay, that one broke. What about like right here? Is it like under this hill? I really hope we don't run out of Power Stone trackers. The Power Stone trackers do seem to be slightly more fragile than the vanilla Eyes of Ender, which is a bit unfortunate. That's a little disconcerting. Is it like down here? Yeah, maybe it is. Hang on. Let me try scanning for a spawner, because that's what we're looking for, is now that I know what's down there, we can look for it specifically. We're looking for a monster spawner. Is there a spawner beneath us somewhere? Lo, there is a spawner. That's the room. That's where it is. There's a thing down there. Okay, so we are right above it. All right. Hit me, baby. Hit me, baby, one more time. All right, that should do it. Okay. And this is the smart way to do it, since I had no idea what was in the room, what I could potentially track and not track, but knowing that there is a that there is a spawner in the room means we can look for spawners specifically. We're going to have to summon Asura again and fight him to get the eye, but once we do that, we'll have everything we need. Then we'll go back to the overworld, and I'll put the book back on the pedestal to recharge, and then I will do the base tour and explain everything that's changed, and by the time that's done, yep, it led us right to it. Fantastic, 10 out of 10. Just go ahead and get rid of that, please. All right. Oh, I don't know. Just put it all on the table. I don't care anymore. And of course it needs to be the refined Corallium pick. You're gaining warp. Thanks. I'm aware. There we go. Okay. We're going to go ahead and call this very far away stronghold. And I can come back here later and loot it. So let's return to home portal. Let's put this away. Let's put these away too. We don't need them right now. And then I guess we get to fight Asura again. Now then. Unfortunately, we don't really have any new weapons to use against this guy. It's going to be a pretty straightforward and boring fight. He's going to summon, and then he's going to yell at me, and then I'm going to kill him. But hey, I mean, let's see, which stuff did we need for this again? It was actually the Abyssal Wastelands thing will tell me. Hi. Rituals for Abyssal Wasteland. Ritual of the Sleeper. So it's the 4 gold, the liquid Corallium. Okay. So we need the 4 gold, the enchantment table, the liquid Corallium bucket, and the transmutation gem. Gotcha. There. And it doesn't matter where you put these on the pedestals. It usually doesn't anyway. For most mods like this, I do this because I'm obsessive. Yeah, one of them doesn't need to be filled. Okay, and then that's it. Is that all it is? I'm sorry, I'm double checking just to make sure it's 4 gold, the transmutation gem, the liquid Corallium bucket, and the enchantment table. Okay. Yeah, we're ready. No. Yes. You've gained warp. Come on, Asura. Come throw hands with me. There he is. Are you free, though? I don't know, man. If I were you, I'd just run. You don't feel free. You feel dead. Oblivion Air. I still can't get over the fact that one of the eldritch beings in added by the mod is named Oblivion Air. I just think that's really funny. Okay. We got a greater scroll. We got a stuff. Alright. I did try and woot him to get another eye, but it does not work. Okay, so let's go home. Home. Have fun digging your own grave. Yeah, I'm coming upstairs. I'll see you in a minute, buddy. Not in a minute. I'm coming. You'll see me around. Okay. We have the Eye of the Abyss. We have the Dreadlands Infused Power Stone, and of course we have the key. So there we go. And I do, in fact, have a fully charged transmutation gem to use for this, just in case that becomes necessary. Now then, let's go ahead and go back to our... No. Yes. Our Redwood Lab. And we are going to put the book back on its pedestal, and then we will talk. Hello, Black Dog. I do really like this little platform I made. I'm totally stealing this for the Void World. Okay, and that shouldn't take long to recharge. How much did it cost to summon him? 1,000. That's fine. That'll charge in no time. Okay, let's go back real fast. Home. Okay. So, hi. It's been a minute. How are y'all? Let's see. So, I've learned some things, and some things have changed. So, first of all, I guess we can start with this. I've learned, and I feel as though some things that I have quote-unquote suggested are mostly just jokes. Like, for instance, I suggested as a joke that sainagh should give an EMC value to lily pads from the Twilight Forest. Don't do that. You don't have to do that. That's just silly. That was a joke. This, however, is an actual recommendation to him that I would suggest as someone who's playing this pack. Make a note in the quest book that makes it clear to players that when you set down the portal to the void for the simple void world, if you pick it up and move it somewhere else, it's going to create another platform in the void somewhere else. And that can't be fixed without using creative mode to become a god and then break unbreakable blocks, because the portal on the void dimension side is indestructible and it can only be broken in creative mode. I had to rejigger my entire construction project in the void world, because I had the void portal placed down here. As you can see, there's a beacon in this location because I was running tests. What I have found is, so in Minecraft, there's an X, a Z, and a Y axis, but it doesn't quite work the way it does on a graphing calculator. The X and the Z are the horizontal, like they're the flat, right? And the Y is the up and down. You would think the Z would be the vertical, right? But it's not. It's the Y. The Y level is the vertical. So if the Y level changes, it's fine. The Y level can change from bedrock to the height limit, and the platform will not change. But if the X and Z coordinates change at all, the platform will move. Okay, and it can cause problems because I did a lot of work in the void world, building and constructing things, and then I moved the portal and realized, oh no, unless I leave the portal down there in this room, because I'm intending to obsolete this whole base. I don't want this space to be here anymore once I move on. I would have to leave it down there. So I did some testing, which is why that marker's down there. I could have moved it all the way up here to the surface, but that would have put it like inside the hill, which was kind of weird. I didn't really like it. I was entertaining the idea of having the portal in this bedroom in the hobbit hole, like having it either embedded in the wall or having it, like, I don't know, on the floor in the middle of the carpet. Didn't quite work out. So what I've decided is eventually all this is going to get filled in and converted back into stone. And this is just going to be a little farming house. And this is going to be in the middle of the kitchen of the farming house. Is going to be the portal to the void, right? So this is all going to get filled in. So I have rejiggered everything around this, but just as a public service announcement, please be aware, the portal to the void, it will move if you move it in world along X and Z coordinates, and you need creative mode to solve it. There's no way to like forcibly relink it. I tried using the same tricks you can use with I'm drawing a blank. The mind fog is already upon me. Send help. Another portal. I tried using the same tricks you can do with another portal to try and force the two portals to connect to each other by breaking all other links in creative mode and then forcibly connecting them. It doesn't work like another portal at all. It's completely different. So just sainagh as a little heads up, you might want to add a blurb about that in the quest book somewhere or in some of the data, like maybe under personal augmentation or something. Just bring it up, just saying, hey, by the way, don't place down the portal to the void until you're sure you have the final location for it on wherever it is you're putting it, because it can cause problems down the line. I will show you, though, what I've been working on. Now, one of the hardest things in Minecraft is how does one build a natural-looking hill or structure? How does one make something look natural? Well, there's a lot of YouTube videos about that. But one of the simplest ways is to just copy and paste nature, which is exactly what I've done. I copy pasted the mountain that we are built into. Okay, and this is going to be the entirety of the base. As you can see, I have copy pasted it. I divided it up into quadrants, and then I divided the quadrants up more because there's a limit to how much Direwolf's tools can copy and paste at once. There's a block limit. But piece by piece, I marked out sort of slices of the world, and I copy-pasted this whole hill. This entire, which is a mountain by Minecraft standards, but it's a hill by real-life standards. And this is going to be the island. Right now, it's not complete. I'm drawing the base of the platform in, I think they're not, are they 7x7s? I think they're 7x7s. Let me check. Whenever you travel dimensions, the X utilities 2 stuff breaks and you have to take it off and put it back on again. You've seen me do it before. I think this is 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yes, these are 7 by 7 cubes of stone. I'm drawing the floor, essentially, the underside of it. Eventually, this will become like a crude sort of circle. And then I may have additional islands and structures out surrounding this, orbiting the primary facility. But this is going to be the new base. You can tell, even though it's a very large and elaborate thing, it's extremely lag-free here. The sky is also very pretty. I really like the Garden of Glass. The Garden of Glass was a beautiful choice for this dimension, by the way, sainagh. I praise you and the people you had helping you poured it over. It was a great idea. I also note that it does have the dynamic sky. I haven't tried, but I assume since the constellations are visible here, that means astral sorcery stuff will work in this dimension. Some dimensions astral sorcery is not compatible with because the skybox can't accept the constellations, and usually if a dimension can't accept those in the skybox, it means astral sorcery doesn't really work there. But the constellations are visible, which combined with all the other stuff in the sky, the other planets and things, it looks very pretty. It looks cool. I quite like it. But this is what I've been working on. This was a lot easier. 10 out of 10 mod from Direwolf. My only complaint is the construction paste, which I've explained previously. Don't use it. Construction paste blocks are considered tile entities, which isn't a problem until it is. And then it becomes a huge problem. But this is what we're working with. Pretty soon I'll have this finished off stream, and I'll probably move everything over, and we will fill in the hole in the ground that is our current base and wave goodbye to it fondly as I convert that location over into a farm. A nice little hobbit hole farm. But let us continue on. Now then, let's talk a bit about some of the changes that have been made, because I think that book is probably charged by now. It doesn't take that long to charge. It's probably done. So let's hurry this along a little bit. I'll try and focus on the important things. What are you? A chunk of corallium. You're definitely an ore. Or actually, would you go in here? We'll put you in here. It's fine. It's fine. And then you go in here. And the greater scrolls, by the way, it's possible to create scrolls in Abyssalcraft that lets you do things. It's a lot like Dungeons and Dragons magic in the sense that you sort of create a predefined effect, and then you install it on a scroll, and then you can pull the scroll out and wave it and make the thing happen. I'm not a big fan of it, mostly because I have way better forms of magic available to me. I'm not a huge fan of it. Oh, and before I forget, there's a reason this is here. I have found a weapon or a tool that is not rendering correctly. It was in my inventory. I think I found it while we were in Erebus. So if we go to Erebus, and then we mouse over a few levels, you'll see that over here in the tools, there's like a Rhino Plate Shield, Wasp Sword, Wasp Dagger, an Augmented Scorpion Pincer, and then there's a Quake Hammer, but it doesn't have a picture. Right, hold right mouse button to charge up, sneak right click on top of a block to use an AoE attack. 1.6 speed, 14 damage. It can even be, it also doesn't have a picture here either. It can even be enchanted in the Cold Iron Forge to become Mjolnir, which is really cool. It gains sharpness 31, mending, unbreaking 3, and sweeping edge. Very cool. It's not visible though. I assume this must be a mistake. I found a Quake Hammer and it's on this spectral relay, and this is how I'm keeping track of it because it's not visible. If I click on this, there you go. Oh, I know what's causing that beeping. I'm sorry. Actually, I don't know what's causing that beeping because that beeping shouldn't be taking place. I have closed everything that could be causing that. Why is that beeping happening? That should have been promptly dealt with. I'm sorry, what? That's a chat that I had open but I closed all of the chat windows. I don't know why that beep would still be happening. I apologize. I don't know how to stop that. Give me a second. Let me just finish this thought first. The Quake camera is in my inventory. I haven't tried using it because I don't know if it's going to glitch the world. It could cause a crash desktop for all I know, but I have one. Sainagh, you might want to look into this. I don't know what's happening here, but it's also invisible in JEI as well. It has no item. It's not rendered at all. I'm not sure what this is, but hey, there it is. I am keeping it in the relay so I can keep track of it. Now, I'm sorry, but that chat window was in Chrome, but Chrome is closed. So is Firefox, and so is Microsoft Edge. The only programs open are Meatballcraft and OBS. Why on earth is that beeping happening? Hang on. Task Manager. What is that? That shouldn't be happening. That's a little creepy that it is. Something's beeping and I don't like it. Is it Cortana? Oh no. Discord relaunched itself in the background. That's what it is. Get here, Discord. You're a pest. You're a bug. Be gone. I think that should solve that. I think it must have been a Discord beep is what it was. I was thinking it was another unrelated chat. You know what? Kill Steam too. Get out of here, Steam. Get out of here, Gavin. We don't want you here either. There we go. Okay, that shouldn't beep anymore. I apologize. I forgot that Steam is practically malware at this point, and or not Steam, but Discord is practically malware at this point, and it'll sneak up on you and activate itself invisibly and then make noises. Anyway, so I have a Quake hammer. It's invisible. Not sure what to do about it. Sainagh, you might want to look into this. What else? I suppose we can talk about Botania. So the basics of Botania, I've gone over it a little bit, but Botania is a mod. It's a magic mod. Some people insist that it is a technology mod, that it's an industrial mod. It's not. I'm aware that the creator of the mod also thinks it's a tech mod. He's wrong, respectfully. He's not. That's not correct, because if automation is what changed, what the difference is between magic and technology mods in Minecraft, then like nothing is a magic mod, right? Because almost everything is automatable under the proper circumstances. It's simply a matter of aesthetics, honestly. Like you could make EMC. This is clearly a magic mod, but you could change the aesthetics of it and turn it into a tech mod if you wanted to, right? Like, come on. Aesthetics are primarily the difference between magic and tech, and this is very aesthetically magic. So, Botania is a magic mod that has flowers, and the flowers do processes. A good example of this is the pure daisy. It purifies objects around it, such as wood and stone. If we were to put some stone and some wood around it, they change and they turn into living wood and living rock. This is in fact like baby's first flower, and it's also one that's needed because you need living wood and living rock to make other things in Botania. There's generally two kinds of flowers. The first type are functional flowers, like the pure daisy, that do a thing. There is a thing that they do. A good example would be Botania. A good example would be, oh, I don't know. No. Give me the hopper hawk, because the hopper hawk's easy to understand. It all funnels into it. The hopper hawk will pull items that are dropped in the world. It'll pick them up and then automatically insert them into an adjacent chest or inventory that is placed next to the hopper hawk. So it's like a remote hopper that works at range. It will pick items up and put them away. Another good example of a functional flower is the Ranuncarpus. That's handy. And the way the Ranuncarpus works is essentially, if I had, oh, I don't know. Let's say I planted the Ranuncarpus on this block here, on this dirt, because they're flowers, they have to be planted on dirt. And then let's say I put a block of sand underneath it, right? The Ranuncarpus, what it does is it places blocks down. It'll pick blocks up that are dropped near it and put them down. Okay, it'll place blocks. But what you can do is to tell it where to place them, you can then do this. And we're getting some glitches because of lag. But essentially, if I dropped some blocks on, and the Ranuncarpus was planted on that dirt, because the block underneath the Ranuncarpus's dirt block is sand, the Ranuncarpus looks underneath itself to see sand, and then will place any blocks I drop near it onto sand that's nearby. It reads the block underneath its dirt block, and then uses that as a guide to place blocks. And that doesn't sound that useful, but it's very useful for automating things. There's certain processes that can be made, like putting items in the world and then doing things to them and then breaking them and picking them back up again. Botania is very good at stuff like that. Okay, so that's what functional flowers do. The other type of flower is a generating flower. Generating flowers, and here we have our living wood and living rock. Generating flowers produce mana. Right now I'm using endoflames, which consume anything that you can put in a furnace and use as fuel, which right now it's coal. I have a hopper that's pushing it into an open crate, which just drops stuff into the world. Then the coal drops onto this pressure plate, and then when these endo flames are ready to consume coal again, because there's a bit of a cooldown, one of them will eat the coal and then start generating mana, and then another piece of coal will drop down. And this is the little loop I have because it's being sent a redstone signal to the hopper. So as long as there's a piece of coal on that pressure plate, the hopper is being turned off by the redstone signal, so it won't just drop indiscriminately tons of coal. And each of these endoflames are linked to this mana spreader. So mana that they generate is pulled out of them and put into the spreader, and the spreader is pointed directly downwards. It's shooting mana down into this mana pool. Okay. And in this mana pool, there's a mana tablet. And right now, that mana tablet has that number of mana in it. I should mention, Botania does not have numbers by design. You're supposed to eyeball it. You're supposed to guesstimate it. This is one of the reasons why I personally insist that Botania is in fact a magic mod, because it is imprecise by design. The mod creator deliberately made it imprecise and difficult, somewhat difficult to use. I believe what's making that number appear is Extra Botany, which is a plugin for Botania that radically changes Botania. You're not normally supposed to be able to see the mana in the tablet. You just, or as a number. It's not represented as a number, it's just a bar, so you just guesstimate the amount. Mana is not a liquid. It has to be placed in a mana pool, which is made from living rock, and you can't really move it around easily. It's not like a normal liquid. It can be pushed from one mana pool to another adjacent mana pool using certain tools in Botania. You can also, of course, put it in a mana tablet as well, which is what I'm doing. And mana tablets are an item. I could pick this up and then drop it and put it in another mana pool if I wanted to, right? But mana is a little bit difficult to move around by design. Now, it's also worth noting, open or extra botany adds a block that is disabled. Sainagh has disabled it because it's so ridiculous. He's turned it off, and I don't blame him for that. So what he's turned off is the flux mana field and the mana liquefaction device. And essentially what this does is those allow you to convert mana into fluid mana from extra botany, which is a vanilla fluid. It behaves like a vanilla fluid, like water and lava, so it can be pumped around in pipes and stored. This is ludicrously overpowered. It completely alters Botania and turns it into what I would consider a true tech mod at that point. Like, I know I just said, I know I'm defeating my own argument because I say it's mostly aesthetics. It is mostly aesthetics. But honestly, if mana could be pumped around and stored like that, there'd be a much stronger argument that Botania is a tech mod and not a magic mod. With the mana liquefaction device, it's absolutely a tech mod. However, Saignah's disabled it. I don't blame him. It does change it rather dramatically. I was a little bit disappointed, though, because I've never actually played any major pack that lets you do it. So I was kind of looking forward to doing that when I found out that Extra Botany was in. But he has turned it off, and that's fine. That's his choice. It's his decision. I won't judge him on that. I am slightly disappointed, but I'll get over it. Anyway, I just think it would be cool to use at least once. Now, there is something we need to do. So, a lot of stuff in Botania is gated behind making an elven gateway. Now, what this essentially is in the lore of Botania is the elves from Norse mythology have withdrawn from the world and they live in Elfheim now. And they don't talk to us anymore. They have their own, they've put up a great big do not disturb sign and they don't speak with us. The portals to Alfheim are closed, and it's impossible to travel there. But there's a way to open a gateway that allows you to trade items to the elves. You can throw things through the portal, and then they can take them and throw things back. So living creatures can't travel through it. So elves can't visit you. You can't visit them in their dimension, but you can trade items with them. What this is in reality is it's a multi-block structure we built, and it looks like a nether portal made out of Botania materials, and this is what it looks like. Elven Gateway Core by Elven Trade. And what we can do is we can throw materials into it and get things spat back out at us. It's essentially a conversion machine is what it is. Okay, and the Elven Gateway Core does let us do certain things. This is important because if we can get our hands on Dreamwood and on Gaia Spirit, we can make the bow limb pattern, which is the only thing stopping us from making a Tinker's Crossbow, which is probably the closest thing to a real-life gun we're going to get in this pack, at least for a long time. The Tinker's ranged weapons are extremely OP. They're very strong, and I suspect that's why sainagh has gated them so hard that we have to get this far into the pack to be able to access them. They're very good. Okay, we're not going to be able to fight the Gaia Guardian today on this recording, but I wanted to go ahead and get to the point where we can build the Gateway Core, which we would need to get to do that. We need to make Terra Steel, right? Now, what is Terra Steel? It's crafted with a terrestrial agglomeration plate. You should remember it. I mentioned it in passing as we ran by that building on the roof of the maze dimension. It is up there, right? There was one in that building, but I didn't take it. The terrestrial agglomeration plate is... Here it is. It's up here. It is made from 3 blocks of lapis, a block of mana steel, and then it's made from a rune of fire, a rune of air, a rune of mana, a rune of earth, and a rune of water. Now, the way these are made is they're made on this runic altar in Botania. You put items on the runic altar, and then you feed mana to it. And then when it's ready, like I'll actually show you. Let's make a rune real fast. What's a simple rune to make? Mana steel and a mana pearl. That's probably pretty simple to make. Let's just do that real quick. Let's make a mana rune just for the lulz, just to show you this, because it's pretty cool. If you've never seen Botania work, it's pretty fun. We're gonna need, what was it? 5. Let me make a... I don't have to do this. I'm just doing this to show you. By the way, you can also throw items into the mana pool to transform them. Certain items will transmute into other things. You see how it's a mana pearl and then an arrow with a check mark on it, and then it's turning into a mana pearl. The ender pearl is turning into a mana pearl. That check mark means there's enough mana, because when you do transactions like this, it takes mana out of the pool. It costs you some. That's saying there's enough in the pool to convert my ender pearl into a mana pearl. You throw it in, if I can land it. There it goes, and it turns into a mana pearl, right? So now we have a mana pearl, okay? If we were to do one of these, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you can see they're floating there, and then we take the mana pearl, there. You hear that crackle of electricity that's confirming it. And you now see there's an arrow with an X on it pointing to a mana rune. That means that there's not enough mana to do the transaction. The Wand of the Forest is like the wand that lets you control things in Botania. You see, if I look at any of these endo flames, it highlights the mana spreader. This is because those endo flames are connected to the mana spreader. They're sending the mana they generate to that spreader. You can also tell that if I shift right click this, see that arrow? I'm switching it back and forth. This is changing whether or not if a mana tablet is thrown into the pool, if the mana is being drawn out of the tablet and put into the pool, or if it's being taken from the pool and put into the tablet, right? I can also use it to do one of these. I can shift click this and then re-aim it at the runic altar. So now the mana is being shot at the altar. And as you can see, if you look at the mana rune, the picture of it, it's slowly filling up like a clock that's ticking down, right? It's filling up like a pie chart. When that reaches max, we'll be able to make a mana rune. And the way you make anything on the table, any of these runes, is you take a piece of living rock and you take it in your hand. And then when that's done, we throw the living rock onto the table and then click it with the Wand of the Forest, and then it will complete and give us a rune of mana. So that's how that works, and I'm going to let this finish and take it, because I don't know, we'll probably need another rune of mana at some point for something, won't we? Yeah. We could use it for something. We could make a botanical brewery with it. Those are fun. Those are pretty powerful. I'll probably want one of those eventually. It's used to make a ring of frost from extra botany. There's so much stuff in extra botany that's crazy overpowered. It is a nutty mod. Uh, I don't know what all of the functional flowers from it do either. Like annoying flower, rest time, Eldweiss. Did you want to build a snowman? Like I don't know what some of these things do. I don't. I'm pretty familiar with Botania. I'm not familiar with extra botany. The only thing I know about it is it has the ability to turn mana into liquid mana, which is crazy OP. But anyway, while we're waiting for that to finish, I have the terrestrial agglomeration plate set up over here. Why on earth? Oh, the sparks are visible. They're just not visible for some reason. I don't know why. Well, that's unfortunate. I'll explain what that is in a minute, but anyway, see the lightning shooting off of it? That means it's ready, and there's a check mark, right? And you can see there's plus stone and then the wand that's telling you to do it. If we throw the stone on and then we do boom. And then you can right-click with an empty hand to add back the last recipe. So if we had the stuff to make another rune of mana, all I'd have to do is right-click with an empty hand to instantly put everything needed back on the table, which is a nice little convenience to do that. But I'm going to re-aim that down, and we're going to actually... That's concerning to me. I was going to do this, but I can't see the... I thought the sparks disappeared, but that one reappeared when I broke the plate. Hang on, let me pull mana out of that pool real fast. And then break it and then place it back down again. So the terrestrial agglomeration plate has to be placed on a special thing. I didn't just do this for aesthetics. It needs to be on a checkerboard pattern of 5 living rock and 4 lapis blocks with the agglomeration plate in the middle. Okay, and it needs that in order to work. Now, what the terrestrial agglomeration plate does is it lets us make terra steel. Terra steel is created, it's a substance. It's a magical alloy right up here. It's made from mana steel, mana pearls, and mana diamonds. And you get mana pearls from throwing ender pearls into a pool, and you get mana diamonds from doing the same thing with diamonds. Okay? I'm sorry, let me take these real fast. Is this here? Are you here? Yeah, the spark is there. It was just invisible. I don't know why that happened. There's a way to make sparks invisible deliberately, but I feel like that's just lag. That's just laggy. Anyway, so mana steel, or terra steel, is a very... Oh no. Take me... Is it too late? No, it's not too late. Take me to the lab. If I'm gonna vomit flux fluids, I want to do it here. Thalmaria. I claim that it's vomit, but we all know it's something different. We're just not going to talk about it, okay? We're polite people. This is polite society. Is it going to happen? Come on. I wonder if I should make some of those... Yep, it happened. Oh, it turned into a thalmic slime. That's horrifying. Regardless of which part of my body it came out of, a slime just emerged from my body, and then when I killed it, it dropped a wizard book. What's going on in my internals? I don't know, but it doesn't feel good. Okay, we have Flux Flute level 3. That's fine. Listen, magic is a little weird sometimes, and we don't talk about it. Okay, there we go. It's all taken care of now. Excuse me. Anyway, moving on. Terra Steel is made from those 3 objects, and you put it on an agglomeration plate. It costs about half a mana pool's worth of mana to make a single bar of Terra Steel. We do not have enough mana on hand to make 32 bars, although we do have the raw materials. That's why I've got this running in the background automatically to build up a supply of mana. Now, sparks, what they do is they allow you, they're a way to move mana around. Now, the way this works is the terrestrial agglomeration plate can pull mana towards itself if it has a spark on top of it, provided the mana source also has a spark on top of it. You can make a spark network that uses computer logic. There's like a dominant rune that you can apply to sparks to make them dominant, and dominants will pull automatically from recessives and stuff like that. A recessive one, and then you can make an isolated spark as well, so it ignores dominant and recessive characteristics and it remains isolated, stuff like that. Those runes are rather expensive to make. We don't have all the materials to do it just yet. And this setup is just fine, because the terrestrial agglomeration plate, I believe it will pull on its own. It will pull towards itself. However, we are going to want to take the ring of magnetism off, because that's going to interfere with it. It'll pull stuff off the plate. Now, I believe we can just do this. I believe we can just do mana steel, mana pearl, and mana diamond. And then it's going to, yep, it's pulling mana out. And then you see those sparks spinning. They're blue, but as it goes, it's going to change from blue to green. They're going to bounce back around a few times. Boing. It's more of a cyan now, and it's going to come in. And come on. I think it bounces one more time. Yeah, and now it's dark green. It's turning into a bright, vivid green, and then when this comes in and collapses this time, it should turn into terra steel. Come on. Show me the money. The reason we're doing this is the Elven, there we go. The Elven Gateway Core, Dancer in the Dark. The Elven Gateway Core has to be crafted from terra steel nuggets. There's a special kind of living wood, Elven, or wait, we want... Elven Gateway Core is made from terra steel nuggets. We also need this glimmering living wood, which, oh, normally that's made using, I thought that was made using terra steel, but apparently it's made using glowstone. Never mind then. We do need it for the Elven Gateway Core, though. So now we have what we need to build the Elven Gateway Core, now that we have at least one bar of terra steel. I just wanted to show you this. I'll do more of this off screen, and I'll build the Gateway portal and show it off next time we have an episode. But I just wanted to show you this because I think Botania is pretty cool. I am firmly on team. It's a magic mod. I am aware that the mod creator has voiced his opinion that it is a tech mod. I respectfully disagree, knowing full well that he is indeed the creator of it. If Botania is a technology mod, then everything is a technology mod, in my personal opinion. Because, like, I don't know, man. If you're, what's your criteria for what technology even is in a Minecraft mod at that point? Like, what is magic then at that point? Is it just something obtuse and difficult to understand? I mean, is Extra Utilities 2 a tech mod? Like, is ME a tech? Is ME a magic mod then? Like, it's a very circular argument. In my opinion, it's primarily aesthetics is the biggest determining factor if it's technology or magic, but I know a lot of people who firmly disagree with that. Anyway, I've shown that off. I don't think there's much else that's new around here. I showed you the other world. I set out another row of phytogenic insulators that are manufacturing things for me, including fiery ingots, because we need fiery plates to make some tools and tech for later. Oh, that's right, I haven't shown off what's over here. First of all, how are we doing on fuel? We're doing poorly. Coal. There we go. I may have clicked that a little too fast. I think there's some lag from that. Please don't crash my game. I'm sorry. I apologize. There. We'll fill that back up again. So, let's talk about the reactors. I'm pretty sure last episode I did explain the reactor and how this works and how it ejects yellorium. Yeah. But I have not had a chance to explain what's in the other room, which you just caught a very brief glimpse of. So, this is a turbine. So, the quest book does mention this. Basically, the easiest way I think to explain this is in isolation, okay, with just extreme reactors and no other mods being involved. Extreme reactors, you can use a solid coolant like the emerald blocks that I've placed in here to help cool your reactor down, right, to cool it off. However, you can also, you're supposed to move on from that. That's Babby's first way to cool the reactor. You're supposed to move on to liquids. And of course, the default liquid you would use in vanilla Minecraft is water. You would pour water into the reactor to cool it. Now, water poured into the reactor turns into steam. okay? And steam is like a byproduct of cooling the reactor with water. Now, if you pump the steam out, you need something to use it with, right? Well, that's what the turbine is. The turbine, you put steam into it in a fluid port, and it accepts steam, okay? The steam pushes these turbines and spins them, and then this thing on the end is it's a ring, like a donut of metal blocks, that converts the rotational energy into electricity. So this makes more energy, and then the steam, after being run through the turbine, uh, that's a crimson portal that just opened. We have gained warp, and now warp events are happening again. Where is it? Where is it? Y'all opening portals to other dimensions in my living room. Hello? I'll explain what's in this room, what we're looking at in just a moment. Just give me a second. Hopefully they opened a portal in like the walls somewhere. They're probably in a nearby cave. Leave them be. Anyway, steam that gets run through the turbine gets converted back into water, and I think the idea is in isolation, extreme reactors, the idea is you set up like a reactor and then you set up a turbine. You can run the steam from the reactor through the turbine to wring even more power out of your setup, and then the exhausted water, the steam that gets turned into water, you can pipe that water back into the reactor and essentially turn this into a closed loop. So water cools off the reactor, gets turned into steam, is run through the turbine to be turned back into water, and then that water is put back in the reactor to be turned into steam. However, this is not in isolation, and we have other mods available, which means we have other ways of producing steam. And that's pretty much what we're doing, is we're using that Railcraft giant multi-block boiler to create steam directly and have it put into this gray, white, gray channel, light gray, white, light gray for steam in my ender tanks. And then I'm just pumping it directly in. So the mod pack tells us, where are you? Energy sources, here we are. Boiler conversion, steam OP. All dynamos can be upgraded into steam, which in turn can be used on extreme turbines. And then it also says Yellowite reactors can be upgraded into accepting water and producing steam instead of power. Steam is consumed by a turbine, which is a hollow cuboid of casings with a transparent variant that has to include a controller, 2 fluid ports, input for steam and output for water, and a power tap. A rotating rotor bearing has to be included in the middle of one of the turbine's facings. Start from the bearing, any number of rotor shafts, blades, and coils can be used. Right. And this is essentially telling you that you can use this to convert any of your thermal expansion engines that we were previously using to create power, like these steam dynamos, which were accepting fuel and then producing steam, right? But they're turned off now. We're not even using these things anymore. And instead, they can be made so they only exclusively produce steam. And then it's essentially saying, hey, use this boiler conversion from thermal expansion to feed steam into these extreme reactor turbines, and it's very overpowered. In fact, it's so overpowered we can't currently do it because it takes copper plates, inderium gears, and hardened glass, which we can do. But it wants he's got the recipe, so it takes plutonium-241, an isotope of plutonium, to make the boiler conversions, which essentially means we're going to have to make a big boy actual nuclear reactor from Nuclearcraft, because I believe that's the only way to get plutonium-241 is we're going to have to run a reactor and then take the isotopes that are left over from running the reactor. We're going to have to take the spent fuel and refine it back into something that we can put back into it, and that's essentially how we get to the clump, the plutonium-241. It's a freaking process, is what it is. Like there's fuel reprocessing, and we have to make make fuels and then deplete them into depleted fuels and then reprocess them into other types of isotopes. And at this point, we're like becoming actual nuclear physicists. That's a problem for future me, though. The only thing I'll say more on this topic is, each one of these, so it's easier if I just show this, because if I explain it, it might be a little weird. Each one of these turbine rotor blades will use 1/4 of a bucket of steam every time it processes. And this is one rotor blade. Okay, these are 2 rotor blades on all 4 sides, right? So each one of these fans is consuming 2 buckets of steam, right? Because each one of them is like that, right? They're like that. Okay, they're not 1 long, they're 2 long. So this is each one of these fan blades, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, is consuming 2 buckets of steam every tick to keep this thing running. I could make this bigger. It can actually go up to 80. Right now, this is technically an inefficient system. It is not. It is not very efficient. I would need to make this larger and have a full suite of blades, of 80 blades, to make this as effective as it could be. But I didn't care too much about it. I just wanted to set this up just so I could understand how it works and have it running for a little bit extra power. When I move everything into the void world, I will set this up in the most optimal way, and I will have everything rejiggered the way I want it to. Anyway, let's move on. That book should definitely be charged by now. So let's go make the freaking key already. This is also from some of his stuff that he made. This is, or it was, it's currently broken because I took the machine controller off, because technically the power port access is below it, and it's easier to just break the top of the thing than it is to dig under it and turn it off that way. But this is his tier 1 mythic void miner. This is a special block added by his pack. What it does is it sucks back a rather large amount of power, and then it produces items that I have piped over into this large storage crate. It essentially is an exchange of energy for items. Some of these are pretty hard to come by, or they can be a little bit obscure. It gives you wind runes, it gives you tokens, rusted iron ingots, these coral bricks. However, one of the important things it gives us is these personal EMC links. Do not connect directly to a storage bus. It's laggy. Use drawers or danks. I need to put one of these in my inventory to solve a quest, so I have done so. Mythic equals alchemy, personal EMC link. Hey, there we go. That was a challenge to complete, to obtain one of those. Down over here, mythic equals alchemy. This was unexpected. It seems like mythic powers have some connection to alchemy. Interfacing with my own EMC network should get easier. Basically, and this is the tier 1 mythic void miner, this is how you get it. You have to get it from this. But essentially what this does is it lets you connect the power flowers directly to your tablet, so you can run everything off of your tablet. I haven't set that up yet, but again, hello Guardians. I knew going to the Cthulhu dimension was going to cause problems because I have a lot of warp. And the moment I start gaining warp is going to become bad again. Yep. The paralysis demons are back, folks. Anyway, let's go ahead and get this over with. Let's go. The only other thing I'll say is I already explained what this does, the Gravitite Enchanter. This is a Valanite gateway. This is another one that I have set up. This is essentially, he's got special multi-blocks, and what they do is they essentially give you ways to create special items that you're going to need from the dimensions they're associated with. The Valanite gateway is associated with the Betweenlands, and it lets us convert items, normal mundane items, into Betweenlands items, such as, for instance, let me show you. Valan. If we do Valanite Gateway, I'll show you. So it lets us super enchant a couple of things: the Sword of the Swamps, the Eonic Chestplate, etc., etc. It lets us turn Exathium ingots, pitstone, and golden apples. We can make the middle gems, right? We can make these. We do need to make red matter, spirit fuel, and Eternus fuel, because this is a challenge to create deep matter. This is important, and we'll do this before we leave. You can use Exathium ingots and bone meal to make life crystals, which is a big deal. We can make sludge balls and mud, scabacysts, sap, spit is made from slime balls, etc. And the way it works is it also costs liquid corallium to do these transactions. There's another guardian like in the other room, and he's rubbing himself up against the wall to try and get to me, but he's not going to make it. There's ways to create liquid corallium, but I just went to the Abyssal Wastelands and bucketed up an entire lake of it using the hardened ender bucket that lets you pick up liquids at range. It reinforced ender bucket. It has an EMC values, so I don't even keep one in my tool bag anymore. I just keep it on the table. I just bucketed it all up and brought it back because that's simpler and faster. So let's actually go ahead and make the deep blue matter real fast because I have that. I've been waiting on that. This is an important challenge for us to complete. Spirit fruit, Eternus fuel, red matter. And being able to make sap spit is important because it is the... And how long is that going to take to make? Oh, it's quick. Sap spit is the fertilizer to grow spirit trees in the phytogenic insulators. You need sap spit for that. So that's super useful to be able to make that on demand. And it should have spat out a deep blue matter. There we go. Advanced equivalency, deep blue matter. Learned, throw it on the table. And that will throw... The druids from the Betweenlands do have some advanced knowledge of alchemy and equivalency. Blue matter is a more powerful and more expensive version of red matter, which is pretty great. And then we have entropy acceleration, living stone, proper fission, which I think is what we're going to have to do. I think that's making a real nuclear reactor. Well, yellorium is great and all, but I need some more proper fission sources. And something tells me that using fission to generate compounds that are not as easy to find should make things better in the long run. Frick, radiation bad, let's not make it. We can make rad scrubbers using, hey, it's our old friend borax. We had to make some of that earlier. And of course there's an experiment 1, Furato, which I have actually, or the Terrapita wormhole, excuse me, which I have already set up, actually. We'll talk about this too. So this was pretty easy to do. Pretty much everything that this asked for we already had. Aquatic pellets drop from like crabs, ghostly powder drops from ghosts and undead. Ice crystals, we've already gone over how to make those. You can make them or you can kill mobs that drop them. Same with the void scales. A lot of this stuff also is in the drop table for the tier 1 mythic void miner. The only thing that's going to be a little weird are these coins, the steel coins from Thermal Foundation. What you have to do is you need a compactor. And then you're going to have to make a numismatic press, which I believe is Latin for coin or currency, but it has been years and years and years and years since I took Latin, so I could be very wrong about that. I apologize, but that's what you need, the numismatic press. And what it does is, normally the compactor makes plates. By putting this augment in it, it stops making plates, and instead it will start making coins instead. And the usage for those is actually pretty funny. Apparently in thermal expansion, there is a kind of generator, a power generator, like one of these, that takes coins to run it. And the more valuable the coins you put into it, the more energy, the more EMC it produces, which I think is pretty cute. It's like a slot machine or a gumball machine generator. And I think it's a way to essentially get use out of extra ore. Like if you have tons and tons of gold and you're not using it for anything, you can just turn them into gold coins and then put them into the energy pachinko machine and gamble with them, I guess, and get money and get them that way. But you're going to need to make one of those and make some steel coins to be able to make this as well. Now, Terrapita Warper opens a temporary wormhole. Careful, you'll not be able to get back with this, thanks to Galactic Silver for the texture. I already have some tools to get back. We have the Dreadlands, which is the next dimension in Abyssalcraft, and then Furato. I've already made a gateway so we can get back, and I have all the marble and stuff we need to do it. So we're going to go ahead and do this. Let me make the warper and put it in my inventory. Okay, and that should have completed a quest as well. Yes, and now it's letting me experiment 2. This is good news. Some of the testificated dared to explore more. They all eventually ended up getting defeated, but some of the exiles of Furato learned a few more things about recursion. This power allows for masters of this art to be essentially gods, having the ability to exist in multiple places at once and to escape death. I do wonder if I will ever be able to escape my own recursion prison and be able to unlock such powers. So the next place we would go is Dimerisa, and it's essentially the exact same thing, but I think, yep, it wants deep blue matter as part of the thing to make it. So we could make that right now, but I'm not going to. We'll go to Furato and we'll deal with the Dreadlands is what we'll do. And yes, I haven't forgotten that there is a guardian here who's going to jump me in just a second. He's still here. He's mad. I'm going to kill him. Don't worry about it. What's up, buddy? You're not spooky. You're not spooky. Also, I don't know if I explained this, but this is essentially what you use the data modules for. Okay, the way deep mob learning works is you need the loot fabricator and the simulation chamber. So now that we have this self-aware tier data model for like the Twilight Swamp, just to give one example, we need polymer clay, which has an EMC value, but your first amount of it is crafted with clay, iron, gold, and lapis, okay, and that gets you like 16 of it. What you do is when this has power, and when it has clay, and when it has a programmed data module, it will start spending clay, and then it'll simulate fighting and killing a thing, just like how Woot does. In fact, Woot is apparently an older mod, and I've just not run into it. I don't know why. I tend to play older packs, but deep mob learning is essentially a homage to Woot. It was made by a guy who was a fan of Woot and wanted to make a more modern version of Woot, and deep mob learning is it. Okay, and what it does is it'll run, and then you'll get these twilight matters, and then sometimes you'll also get pristine twilight matter as well, which is rarer. And the pristine matter, your odds of getting it increase the higher your tier is for your data model. Since this is a self-aware tier, that is the highest tier we can get. It also is the most expensive, costs 500 RF a tick to run it. Anyway, just to give an example, the twilight matter, in addition to being able to consume it directly, we can eat it like a sandwich to gain experience. We can combine it with different things to make different substances, like raw venison, torchberries, raven feathers. This is all Twilight Forest stuff because it's compatible with the Twilight Forest, obviously. And then the pristine matter, let's see, pristine swamp matter. You put the pristine matter into the loot fabricator, and it can make other things on demand. It can turn pristine swamp matter into steel leaf, or 15 raw ironwood, or fiery ingots, or a hydra chop, or gold, or any of these other things. The most important thing you'd want to make here, though, is the raw ironwood materials. Normally this would suck. Raw ironwood materials are normally made by combining iron ingots, live root, and gold nuggets, and then you can smelt it to get iron wood, which is pretty crappy, actually. It's like that dimension's version of iron. It's pretty low tier. However, it is also used in the phytogenic insulator. It's the fertilizer to grow the Thaumic Edition seeds. Like, Saigna's pretty clever in how he did this. I actually quite like this. I appreciate how he did this. It forces you to get the ironwood to grow these seeds, so that way you can grow the different elements of this. You can grow the different elemental things from the seeds, but it doesn't take normal fertilizer. It takes raw ironwood materials. We've already got 2, and I'm just going to leave this running. It's okay. I'm just going to leave that. But I just wanted to show that, just to see it. No, we're going to hop dimensions. I won't start draining that. I've noticed sometimes when you jump dimensions, that stuff can bug out a little bit when you jump dimensions while you're putting stuff on the table. I'm not going to automate that just yet. We're going to go ahead and put the matter in here, I think. Yes. We're going to go ahead and do one of these. Eat that. Put that in here. Throw that in here real fast. Okay. Let's go pick up our book, and let's go make the key. And then I guess we'll flip a coin and figure out which dimension we want to go to first. Because right now we can go to Ferrato, and we'll be able to go to the Dreadlands. I suspect we'll probably go to the Dreadlands first, because I don't anticipate staying there very long. We're basically going to go there, make a beachhead, slap down the gateway, and leave, because the Dreadlands are... How do I put this? They're not nice. Remember how I said in a somewhat complainy way about how there are dimensions in modded Minecraft that are just welcome to the color dimension. Everything here is color. Also, everything here is going to try and kill you, and it's bad. The Dreadlands is that. In fact, there's a war between 2 colors. Half the Dreadlands is red, half the Dreadlands is purple, and purple and red are at each other's throats. There is no peace between red and purple. They are at war. Purple is slightly safer than red. Purple is actually the origin of Abyssalcraft. The Abyssalcraft substance is the purple from the Dreadlands dimension. Essentially, it is a form of blood flesh corruption that is spreading and eating that whole world. Oh, here it is. It's up on the surface. That's cute. and the abyssal stuff is fighting back against it. So it's essentially the abyss. It's creatures from the abyss fighting like necromorphs from Dead Space is what that dimension is. Is it's necromorphs are invading hell, and hell is fighting back, and hell happens to be purple in this instance. So it's not a fun place. Purple is slightly safer than red, but not by much. Also, the Dread Plague is contagious. We can catch it, and if we spread it to our world, it will start being invasive. It's actually true of Corallium as well, which is why you see me being careful about it. I know I've explained that Abyssalcraft is crappy. By the way, you can tell which lake I drained to get all my Corallium. I just want to show this because this is truly terrible, and a lot of people don't know this about Abyssalcraft because like some of this is obscure. The liquid Corallium, when I step into it, I gain a debuff called Corallium Plague. Okay. And if I flip out, you can see the bubble particles on me, especially since I'm invisible, you can see it, right? If I died, wow, there's been a massacre here. I think that Shogal just ran some people's fade. Okay, that's fine. If I died while I had that, the spot I die in will become a Corallium plagued biome. Okay, and in fact, like anything that inflicts the Corallium plague too, which is why I mentioned, I think a long time ago, I said, hey, don't make weapons that inflict Corallium plague on hit. It's a trap. So if you do that in the overworld, the location where you kill things with them will start to convert into a Corallium biome, the location of their death, like that right there. If this wasn't already all Abyssal Wastelands to begin with, it would have turned into a little tiny square of Corallium. Now, it's essentially almost exactly like how it works in Terraria, if you've ever played Terraria and you know how like biome spread in Terraria works. Except the problem is in Terraria they give you tools to deal with it, right? You have the what's it? What is it called? I've heard people argue over whether it's called the Clentaminator or the Clentimator. But you essentially have that fluid nozzle thing that you can spray that will convert biomes to other biomes. Abyssalcraft doesn't have a tool like that. It literally gives you invasive biomes that are really dangerous and then doesn't give you a way to fix it. It's a one-way trip. Now, there are tools in... there's another portal opening behind me. There are tools that can help overcome it in other tech mods, but your pack may not have those tech mods installed. Right? You may not have them. Okay, so it's going to be the Transmutation Gem, the Power Stone, and the Eye of the Abyss, and the key goes in the middle. Gotcha. The key goes in the middle. This should work. This should work. If it doesn't work, I'm going to throw a fit because I've done nothing wrong. I've done everything correct. And then I'm going to use the full one because I swear when we were playing Septec Ages it broke, and this was the reason because we used one that already had durability taken off of it. I made one that has a full thing just for this to make sure that this works. And we have 10,000 and it costs 10,000, so... Oh, come on. There we go. Basically, Abyssalcraft has invasive biomes from Terraria, the TLDR, but there's no way to combat them. And the Dreadlands are worse than the Corallium Plague. Like, straight up, it's worse. If I had to choose between the two, I'd choose Corallium all day. No question. It's bad. It's real bad, actually. So you do always have to be careful. I always check to make sure you don't track it in. Like, check your stats. It's like tracking mud in on your shoes, except it's death. It's extra-dimensional death. The Dread Plague is much worse than the Corallium Plague. There are... Abyssalcraft tries to encourage you to turn it into a weapon by offering you tools and weapons that can inflict these plagues. It's a trap. Don't fall for it. Like, don't do it. Like, whatever it is you think you're going to accomplish, I assure you it's not worth it. Like, it's not worth the cost. That is very much a Lovecraftian trap, if ever there was one, is that, right? It's a trap, trust me. So, the Corallium Plague comes from liquid Corallium. It's bad. The Dread Plague is worse. The Dread Plague is worse. I assure you it's worse. This is my perimeter, not yours. Get out of it. Wow, they're like considered boss things or something. Can only be used. They are dropping enchanted poppets that give protection from every single death type that can be done. That's crazy. Like some of the enemies are drop crazy stuff in this pack. But let's go ahead and go back real quick. We're gonna head back to home. I think. Yeah, we'll head back to home. And then we will warp to the Redwood Lab. Let's go to the lab. Then we will jump down and we will make the portal out here. I don't think there's any problems with making the portal itself. It's just if you track Dread Plague into your world is when it becomes a problem. If you are in a pack and you do that and you don't have any way to deal with it because the pack literally doesn't have tools to do it, the only thing you can do is essentially check the chunk boundaries, right? And then the chunk that is infected, just empty it. Clear it all the way down to bedrock, right? So enemies can't spawn there. Because what will happen is, over time, Corallium or Dreadlands enemies will spawn, so shift right-click to create the alternate portal. They'll spawn in that area, and because those types of enemies are hostile to normal ones, they'll fight. And then, over time, the enemies will fight and inflict the Dread or Corallium Plague on what they're picking fights with, and then those enemies will die, and so it will begin spreading as the war breaks out between dimensions, essentially, is how that works. That's literally how it works. So, shift right-click. Or wait, no. I'm sorry. Why is that not? That's making the normal ones. What exactly does the key say? I'm sorry. Right-click on the ground. Shift right-click to create the alternate portal. Hang on. Okay, so let me take the steel battle sign off. That might be screwing it up. Right-click the ground makes that. If I shift right-click, it's the same portal. Why is it? I'm sorry, why is this happening? Am I not understanding how this works? We've done this before in another pack. Shift right-click to create the alternate portal. Does it have to be used on the existing portal? I'm not quite sure what that is. I'm not sure why that's not working. I really hope I don't have to use cheats again to get to the Dreadlands, because that would be very upsetting. I'm not quite sure what that is, but I assure you shift right clicking does not create a different portal. It creates the same portal. Does it have to be used in the Dreadlands? Is that the problem? Let me go to the Dreadlands then. Let's teleport back real fast. Let's go home. Maybe it needs to be used in the Dreadlands. That might explain it. Or at least that might force it to do what I want it to do. That might make it obey. Let's try that. And if that doesn't work, we'll just use the Ferrado wormhole and go to Ferrado, because I've never been there before. I don't know what that dimension is. Okay. Let's try going to the Abyssal Wastelands and doing it there. Okay. Thanks for giving me warp. No. Clicking it on the thing doesn't change it either. Shift left clicking doesn't do anything. Aha! You have to normal click it in the Abyssal Wastelands. Normal clicking it in the Abyssal Wastelands is what does it. Okay, that was what needed to be done. So click it normally in the Abyss to make the new portal. And you can see it's flickering between red and blue because the dimension is literally fighting for its life against... Hell is fighting for its life against things worse than hell, is essentially how that's going. So let's put the key away. We don't need it anymore until we upgrade it to go to Omathal, which is the second to last dimension. You don't make a key to the dimension beyond Omathal. Omathal is void dimension like the end, and you get to the next place by jumping out into the void. You jump off the edge of Omathal. Anyway. Hold on to your butts because this is going to be a little laggy because this is going to take us to a whole new dimension. Welcome to Dreadlands. Okay, good. This is good news. We landed on the purple side of the fence for now. That's actually really good. Purple is slightly calmer and less BS than red. If we were in red, we would be in trouble. Let's go ahead and do one of these. One of these. One of these. Remember how I said there are dimension mods that add dimensions into Minecraft that's just color? You might have thought I was exaggerating. Surely he's just being rude, and he's like he doesn't really mean there's like just whole dimensions that are just color. Yeah, well, was I lying? Welcome to Red Purple. This is a novel thing among certain Minecraft modded dimensions in the sense that this dimension has two colors. Ooh, feeling adventurous today, are we? Anything red is hostile to all life. I assure you I would be getting attacked if I wasn't currently permanently invisible. Dreaded Abyssal Night Golem. Once we get a 3-high wall, I'm going to break that portal, and then we're going to build our way back. Now we're going to build the thing. Now, in order to progress, there's essentially a Lovecraftian flesh monster boss that is a giant mound of teeth and eyes that we have to fight in this dimension. He lives in those mountains. He lives in the Dreadland biome mountains over there in the red. We got to find him and beat the crap out of him, which shouldn't be too hard to do. We were lucky enough to spawn right next to them, so hey, at least we won't have to look far. Let's go ahead and put that Dreadland stuff back on the table. And you know what? I don't even want these seeds. Just get rid of them. I don't want the slime balls either. Just trash it. Just trash it. Okay. Now then, we're going to need 25. Yeah, it's 25. I've already messed this up. Where is the... Yeah, I know. I'm aware that I'm gaining warp by the second. Dreadlands. Let's do this so we can build around it. This will make it a little bit easier. Okay. I'm actually going to have to go back for more marble. I thought I brought all the marble necessary to do both of these, but it looks like I forgot to double my recipe. So we're going to have to go and get more marble to build the gateway back from Ferrato, but that's fine. That's perfectly fine. There, and there, and then we do this, that, and that should open it up. And yep, there we go. There's 2 stars now. There's the Abyssal Wastelands and there's home. And just because we're here, because we can, we will explore a very brief amount, not very long. I assure you there's nothing here except color and the things of color that are trying to kill us, which sounds worse than it is when I say it that way, but you just got these little Lovecraftian tooth monsters, the dreadlings. They're red. The purple that's fighting against the red are like stone people. You can see dread guards are like corrupted stone people. They're like the corrupted purple guys. They're turning red, right? There's Abyssal Night Golems. There's more purple guys here. This whole dimension is at war with itself. It's being eaten alive by the red, which is corrupting it. And the red and the purple guys should be hostile to each other. I believe they fight. Yeah, they're fighting. They throw hands when they catch each other. Um, what do they drop? Looks like it's just Furium. Also make horrible noises. It's... Yep, there we go. Anyway, this is the extra-dimensional race war between Hell and Cthulhu that is currently going on in this dimension. It's as exactly fun as it sounds. Purple is safer than red. The red is a much more dangerous place to be. It is also eye-searing to look at this place. This dimension gives me headaches if I hang out here too long. No prizes for guessing why. Like, this place is... It hurts to be here sometimes. I do see green, though, and I don't know what that is. I know that's the oil that's everywhere, but what is this green? What are you? Those are demon pigs. Silver limes from forestry? Silver limes apparently grow in hell. Sure, I'll buy that. Why not? Or super hell, as the case may be. Give me those saplings. You know what? I'll take Dreadwood as well while I'm here. Why not? Give me the wood. There. Let's head back to our gateway. I should have marked it. I should not have explored without marking it. That was a mistake. Rookie mistakes being made in this series. Do as I say, not as I do. These little slimy Nyar monsters, the dread spawns, are one of the things that will cause the crashes, by the way. If you remember, I mentioned that how the portals will chunk load the area. Those little things can spawn almost infinitely. They like don't have a spawn cap, which I guess the Abyssalcraft guy thought was cute. I guess he thought that was a cute feature to give them. Except it can cause servers to crash if you leave their portals up on this side, and a lot of them accumulate on that side. It becomes a real problem. So that is why we use things like the Astral Sorcery Gateway. I did not merely idly recommend that. That was recommended for a reason. Home portal. And just because I like to be a contrarian, I will make it green, because screw both of you. I don't think we can fight the Cthulhu dude in the mountains or do anything to him. He's like not in the mountains, he's under them. We would have to go mining underneath these mountains to find him, essentially. But I think we need something special to make him even care about us. We have to like make an offering on the altar to summon him. And I don't remember how we do that, but the Abyssal Nomicon can be upgraded, and that is, I think, what we'll have to do. We can also upgrade the staff. The staff of rending can be upgraded as well, and we will probably be doing that too. I want to see what the Dread Guards drop, though. What do you have? Because you're a boss type enemy, aren't you? Yeah, he vomits stuff on you. And see, we're Dread Plagued now. For just a moment, we were Dread Plagued. That's the bad one. He dropped Dreaded Shards of Abyssal Knights. A Parrot Familiar Receptacle. Okay. And I guess we'll kill this guy too, and then we'll leave. We're going home, because I need to refuel, because I thought I had everything I needed to make the portal to Ferrato. Apparently we don't, and that's fine, but I'll have to restock up. Let's just warp back directly. I don't want to be here anymore. Okay. So, let's drop this off, and let's get some marble real fast. I think we only need 25 of the sooty, because I think all of the other marble types can be pulled off of the table. So let me go ahead and drop all of this off. Put that away, put that away, put that away, put that away. Start extracting the bottles of enchanting. Enchanted Scroll of True Sight enhances vision. No, thank you. Anyway, let's see. Yeah, here's what we'll do. Waypoints. Take me to the Redwood Lab. We were going to put the Abyssalcraft back so it can start charging again, because we're going to need those charges, so we're going to need PE to do things. Then we are going to warp to the Astral Sorcery platform, collect our marble, and then we're going to go to Ferrato. Oh, and while I'm here, just because I saw it, you also do need liquid antimatter to do certain things. It is from Abyssalcraft. You find it underground in Corallium swamp biomes. This is what it looks like. It looks like a giant pool of carbonated milk. You know how Thumbcraft has that fluid that I think I mentioned in passing once that you can make that kills mobs called Liquid Death? Liquid Antimatter is Abyssalcraft's version of Liquid Death. If I stepped into this, it would do, one, it does outrageous amounts of damage. Two, if you die in it, your character data is copied, and then it spawns an anti-version of you in your place. I'm not kidding. So there, if I died in this, there would be an anti-Lord Rain. In fact, I might do it just for the memes. Antimatter. You can see I'm affected by the antimatter debuff. If I die with that debuff, I should... Ooh, we lived on 1. That's very close. I want you to kill me, though. Kill me. I want to show this, because I think it's a cool little feature of Abyssalcraft, that you will die. You can see him spawn. You saw him appear. And if we teleport to him... we should be able to see him. I kind of want to woot shard my anti-evil version of me just because I think it's interesting. And there's another one. I was molecularly disassembled. It's not letting me go back because I'm getting fragged into the wall by my own death marker. Dang it. This is why I do not like... I don't know what version of journey map this is. But there's a version of journey map that this is, and it does this where it's not precise. It just drops you in a general location of where the marker is, and I hate it because it telefrags you. See, I was afraid this would happen, that I'm getting fragged now in my own thing. There we go. Are you serious? I'm trying to slash home, so if I die here. There's going to be a million anti-me's in that room now because of this, but that's fine. It's entertaining, I suppose. Anyway, let's go ahead and put my stuff back. Thank you. Thank you. And let's go ahead and do one of these. They're hostile, obviously. Anti-creatures hate normal ones. They're super hostile, actually. And they will attack all forms of non-antimatter life they see. You can also see it's my name backwards. I'm Lord Rain. They are Inaya Redrawls. I actually kind of want to woot shard one and see what I get from it if I make a woot factory out of him. Captured mob. What does he even drop? He drops his name tag primarily. Okay, that's interesting. Well, you all get to die because you're abominations in the sight of the Lord. I do have anti-me, though. I have him as a... as a thing. They're also not affected by antimatter at all. Antimatter does not damage them. And if you need like anti cows or anti sheep or anything for any purposes, this is how you get it. Is you find a pool of this. You can bucket it up too. You can take it home with you in a pot in your pocket. And anything that dies in here, you get an anti version of itself. We will need anti versions of certain creatures and their drops, like anti sheep flesh and anti zombie flesh, for later. I think it comes in later in Abyssalcraft. I just wanted to show that off though, because I think it's kind of neat. It's one of the neater things that it lets you do. Anyway, let's go get our marble, and then let's get out of here. Let's teleport again and go to the next dimension. Let's go to Ferrato. We can remove this. I don't need that experiment anymore. Why does this keep getting turned off? I need this on. This is the one that's got the stuff in it. Just go ahead and put everything in it. It's fine. What on earth? Oh, unnatural hunger. I've been overcome by cannibalistic urges and I need to eat zombie flesh if I don't want to go insane, which I don't care. I'll just go crazy. It's fine. It's nothing that hasn't happened to me before. Marb. Okay, we're going to need 4 runed. We're going to need 4 chiseled. Then we need 20 arches, 5 on each side, right? Okay. I almost wish I could, like, delete this status ailment that I'm afflicted with, because I don't want it to ruin my first impression of Ferrato, or this dimension I've never been. Terrapita. I keep calling it Ferrato. That's the dimension after this one. It, like, inverts the stars and everything, but I don't want this dimension we've never been to be affected by what's happening to me, unfortunately. Actually, there may be a way to deal with this. I should probably go check if we have... Home. Do we have any of those scrolls from Corail that make it so all negative status elements are purged? I bet that would stop the warp. It probably would. Or it could crash my game. I have had a modded effect from another mod that is supposed to stop bad things from happening to you cause a crash to desktop in a mod pack because it interacted poorly with warp and taint from the from Thumbcraft, and the game just didn't know how to resolve the conflict. It crashed to desktop and then it corrupted that save file, and I was never able to play in that world again because I'm not smart enough to figure out how to fix that, which sucked. That was pretty bad. I don't think we have any on hand. What are the... How do we make those? Those are craftable. It is purification. Right. It's a strange scroll with any blue dye. Oh, that's super cheap. Oh, that's super cheap. Let's just make one of those real fast and try it. Let's crash. Let's CTD right now. Let's CTD right now. I'm blind as well. I'm getting really wrecked by the warp. Send help. Okay, and those blank scrolls are what now? They are... No, I'm sorry. It's 4 sticks, 3 paper, and then 2. Okay. If this corrupts and destroys my world, I want you to know that I enjoyed doing this with all of you, and I will see you on the flip side when I have to start over in another redwood forest, because I'm not going to quit until I beat this, but it would be tragically disappointing if this if this destroys us all. But I want to try this, because I think this will actually work. Lap. It should work, in theory. By the way, if this does crash the world, there's something I want to show you before we do it, which is I actually have the dragon with me. I found out what I did wrong. So the Ice and Fire wiki shows a picture of an ice dragon egg submerged in a pool of ice. That is a bad and misrepresentative picture of what you're supposed to do. You submerge it in a pool of water, and then when it is working, if it works correctly, the water will freeze over, and that is how you know that it has begun the process of hatching. Um, we have to take this and click it on one of those. That increases our knowledge of death, and it also enchants this so it can actually be used. The effect lasts for 10 minutes. I did that, and the egg was encased in ice, and it also became an ice-logged block. I didn't want to stop it because I was afraid if I tried to pick up the egg after that happened, that I would break the egg, and thereby lose the baby dragon. But so I just let it play out. However, we do now have an ice dragon, a baby ice dragon that hatched, and he is adorable. Look at him. Look at him. Look at my beautiful baby boy. Look at him sleep. I can put him on my shoulder by clicking, just like with a parrot. In fact, hang on, let me take my cloak of invisibility off so you can see if I do this. Look at this, he's on my shoulder. Isn't that the coolest thing you've ever seen in your life? Look at it! Look at it! Ice and Fire is an incredible mod. It's a great mod. I'm starving to death because of cannibalistic corruption in my soul, but I have a baby dragon. And you know what? This is what every 16 to 18-year-old kid wanted, was a baby dragon. If you're 18 years old and you tell me you don't want a baby dragon, you're lying to me. I know you are a dirty liar. Anyway, you can equip him with armor. You can equip him with banners. Right now, he's unnamed, gender male. He's hungry. He's stage 1. He's 0 days old because it pauses when you use the Sigil of Phantom Chains to pick them up. Right now, he is weak, and I'm worried about him because I don't want him to die. Technically, we will eventually gain the ability. You can just pick him up and turn him into that. We will gain the ability to... it was actually related to this. Coriel Tombstone lets you make these lanterns, which we found some as loot. And essentially what they do is you can create a familiar receptacle, and then if a creature that is tamed by you dies nearby you and you have an empty familiar receptacle in your inventory, the creature, instead of dying, it goes into the receptacle and it enters a cooldown, and then when the cooldown is over, you can click the receptacle to summon them again. So in theory, it lets you bring them back to life. It kind of works like a Pokeball a little bit in Pokemon. The idea is it tries to make it so they faint instead, right? And it will also remember names. So if you name the creature, it'll come back out with the same name, right? However, you need a certain amount of knowledge of death to get to the point where you can freely make those on your own. So I don't want to play with my dragon until I level up my Coriel Tombstone some more and I can start making those receptacles on my own, because I definitely don't want to take him out anywhere unless I can use that. And I'm pretty sure it does work on modded creatures, because look, like it's got Advent of Ascension Shaddy, Advent of Ascension Orbling, Advent of Ascension Spikeback. I'm pretty sure these are all familiars that you can summon using the Advent of Ascension like pet system. So if it works for that, then logically it would work for pet dragons from Ice and Fire. I can't think of a reason why it wouldn't. So I'm working on that. For now, let me do this to see if it cleanses me. If it doesn't and it crashes the game, I apologize, and it's been an honor and a privilege playing for all of you. Hasta luego. A little cleansing is necessary. Goal reached, Mastery 1. Oh, hey, that actually worked. Oh, Ancient Tablet of Recall. Allows you to teleport to a memorized location. All the creatures around you will also be teleported. Fascinating. We're still starving to death, though. Okay, that's good to know. I'm definitely going to make more purification scrolls then, if that can help. Oh, he's mad because I'm not invisible anymore. I took the thing off to cosplay and pose with my pet dragon, and now all the enemies can see me. Let me put my cloak of invisibility back on. You know why Harry Potter was a scrub? Because once he got the invisibility cloak, he didn't just live under it permanently. Who wouldn't? Why wouldn't you want to be invisible at all times? Seriously. Okay, we'll put the ice dragon back in my bag. As soon as I get the ability to put him in a lantern, we're going to take him out and start playing with him and use him. But for now, I think it's time we eat some chicken and then go to Terrapita. See, I got it right this time. I don't know what this dimension is, but I do know there's like a dimension in this pack full of giant bees, and seeing how allegedly the certificates here have tamed giant bees, I wonder if we're about to go to the bee dimension. But we're going to find out. Opens a temporary wormhole. Careful, you'll not be able to get back with this. And we're going to run over here and use it. I hate that. that jagged running animation. We'll use it here. I assume this just teleports me. Ooh, does it have to be using a block? Hello? Uh-oh. Oh, wait, no. We've already teleported there. Hello? We are slowly suffocating to death because we are in a wall. That's not great. We're also under a tree. There's boss bars appearing in the sky. Withers, excuse me. Pardon me. What? Why are there withers here, and why is that one taking damage? What? Okay. Let's step back for a moment and calm down. Let's calm down and evaluate the situation. First of all, put all the valuables up there. I don't know where we are. I don't know what's happening. I've never been here before. We're in a redwood forest. What's around us? Update the map, please. I don't know. The map's not working. Correct the ring of flying squid. This is biomes aplenty. Your vision becomes strange and grim. Well, that's not helpful. What is this place? Is this just a giant redwood forest dimension? No, there's plains. Where are we? What is this place? I saw weird stuff over here. What is this? What is this? Nova Cataclysms from Project E. Energy Collectors Mark III. What is this? Are those like super TNT blocks built from Project E? There's a red matter furnace here. That takes forever to mine up. This is a very strange dimension, and I'm not sure how I feel about it. I'm also not sure how I feel about there being two withers that have spawned here. They're also constantly taking damage if you are watching that in the corner. I know the red matter furnace card, there's a third one now, is in the way, but they are taking damage. This is taking forever. I'm just going to come back here later. I'm going to mark this red matter furnace. Okay. Is there anything below it? Not really. Actually, instead of using my crappy pick, let's try the dire pick and see if this will break it. Holy crap, the dire pick can't break it. What is this thing made of? Okay. Well, I'll leave that marker up. I don't know what that is. I don't know why it is, but it is, and we must accept that. Okay, there's creepers spawning. This is almost exactly like stuff from the overworld. I don't really know what I'm looking at or what this is. That's a special structure of some sort. Hello? Greetings? You're a skeleton. This is gray grass from random things, an apiary from forestry. An apiary from forestry. Acidic princesses, acidic drones. Okay. I think those are some pretty difficult to obtain bees. I'll mark this because this structure might contain something under the grass. Let me check underneath. Is there anything down here? No. There's like 6 withers somewhere out here in the near area, and it makes me very uncomfortable. I don't know what's going on in this dimension, but someone's getting... I want to say gaggle, you know what. I'm trying to keep this as clean as I can, but that's the best explanation I can think of for somebody who's getting ganged up on by 6 withers. Like, bruh's not having a good time over there, whatever that is. I don't know what is going on, but may God have mercy on his soul. Interesting, we get to keep the warper. I wouldn't have expected that. Put the TNT in there as well, please. Let's go ahead and grab... Oh, there is one thing we need from here. Let me grab the thing. Grab the Ferrato thing so we can find... I want to find a peaceful location that is preferably nowhere near the withers. And we will set up a gateway home so I can get back and forth easily. Hello? You're a testificate. What's going on here, buddy? You're just a random alchemist running around in the woods. It's dangerous out here, buddy. Are you aware that there's withers? You're not selling anything of value. Okay. This is a weird dimension. I'm a little bit unnerved in how normal it was. I thought this was going to be something wacky, like a Banjo-Kazooie honeycomb dimension or something. This is disturbingly normal. As normal as any place can be that's being overrun by withers. There's a battle tower. Let's go out into the plains area, I think, and set up the portal. Because we do have some other things. It's getting pretty late-ish. I'd like to wrap this up before we get too long again, like some of the more recent videos. We have some things left in my great big bag of tricks that I'd like to touch on. Is this whole place just a giant redwood forest? What is this place? These are more apiaries, but they appear to be on the tops of the trees. Do you guys also... Oh, wait, no. Alchemists. You're like the same dudes. Is it the same thing? Yeah, it is. What do acidic drones? What do acidic princesses make? What do y'all produce? Silky comb and brimstone comb found on a warper plane. Which one? Question mark, question mark. Warper in JEI. Okay, and what is it used to make? The induction smelter takes glitches from content tweaker and turns it into glitch ingots. The centrifugal separator can turn it into acidic drops. I don't know what those do. But this is, I guess, how we farm glitches. And what is it bred to make? Formic. A meadows bred with one of these drones becomes a formic. I think I've seen this before in one of the things while I was doing a deep dive. I think the formics are needed because they make formic comb, and that makes formic acid from Erebus. Right. Which is used to make neodymium, which is used to make a couple of things. Right. Okay, so these are going to be important for later, is what these are. I'm sorry for taking your bees, my man, but apparently all your dimension does is bees. Like, you know how there's those anime and manga where it's like the whole world revolves around soccer and it's like the most important thing in the universe? This is like that. This is bee world though, so I'm sure you'll get more acidic bees. Don't worry about it. This is the bee dimension. This is the bee world, where you can indeed be all you can be. I'm sure you guys will be just fine. In fact, you won't believe how fast you'll spring back from this. I'll stop. Flint chickens are here. Not that we need them. I think we can make those. They've been acidic bees in everything I've checked. Still not sure where the 8 trillion withers are hanging out, which makes me a tad uncomfortable. What Y level are we on? We're at a normal Y level. This dimension isn't super high or super low. Yeah, you know what? We're just gonna set up the portal. Oh, I don't know. Right here. There's another one of these things. Let me set it up over here so it's closer to this, and then we can leave. We've got some stuff in my bag that we need to go do. to take care of. So not sure what this is. I'm not sure if the redstone furnace is even intended to be moved. Okay, it's being cooked because of the red matter charges around it. Hang on. Or the collectors. Hang on. I need to check something real quick. What does a red matter furnace do? I'd like to know. That is a raven from Bewitchment. Okay. What does the red matter furnace do? Okay, the red matter furnace. Who knows? It's not JEI acknowledgeable. Does it turn fuel into red matter? Is that what it does? Is that its purpose? Because if so, this might be like a special thing where he's like, hey, come here and turn coal directly into red matter or something. That might be what this is. Give me my tablet. If I put coal in here, what happens? Nothing. What happens if I put red matter in here? Nothing. I'm not sure what this is. I'm not sure what it does. But I will build my my platform over here next to it. And then we will bounce out of here. I think we got the bees, which was all we really needed. This is a cool dimension, but the immense gathering swarm of withers in the distance concerns me in a variety of ways. 1, 2, 3. And I don't know how to feel about it. Although, we're pretty tough now. Like, we're not super hardcore, but we're pretty rough. I think maybe before we go back, I will fly back to the forest and see if I can find that, see if I can find where they are. That might be some kind of special dungeon that he's got set up in here, that just go in here and get into a brawl with 10 withers, Lamal, right? Like, get good. Maybe I'll do that because that sounds like a funny thing to do on recording. We'll do that, but I want to set this up real fast to make sure we've got it. Okay, yeah. And now we can go to the Dreadlands. We can go to the Abyssal Wastes, and then of course the star that has no name is the home one. The reason I don't put a name on that is because when you tag them with a name, they will actually take a screenshot of the landing location and use it for that particular thing. Going forwards, I would like to make the screenshot for my home portal be in the void dimension in my actual home. But to do that, I have to hold off on that for a minute and get it when we are actually ready for it. So I haven't named it. Is there anything in the base of these? No. Absolutely not. That's fine. You could turn that into a neat little house, though, if you wanted to. That's pretty sweet. Okay. Oh, and I suppose we should probably mark that on the map as the astral gate, the home portal. I almost regret not having the other thing set up, but it's fine. We've got other things we can do. I was the thing to the other warper dimension to see what that is. Is that something floating in the sky? Oh wait, that's just a slime island. It's fine. We'll call this home portal. We'll make it very bright white so I can see it. Let's go teleport back to that red matter furnace because I think. Gentlemen. Yes, they do indeed appear to be killing each other. They're attacking a glistening Pixion, and they can't do anything about it because the Pixions are invincible. That is adorable and hysterical. Let me go ahead and break up this party because I don't think I have a thing for one of them just yet. Don't ask me why that happened. I don't have answers. We do have a wither bow now, if we ever wanted one. And wither cannons. We have an enchanted scroll of unstable intangibility and some other things too. Oh, we have a draggy as a familiar. I should probably open some of these familiar receptacles they're giving me to see what these things are. Ooh, we have a normal one that's not occupied. I could use this for my dragon. Although I don't think we're allowed to even use them until we get a thing. So whatever. All right, let's go home. I was expecting that to be a dungeon of some sort. It appears to be something much weirder, which is just out there in the woods. Sometimes 5 withers can spawn and decide to gang jump a Pixion for no reason. Why? I don't know. Let's go home. Let's get out of here. Okay. So, this bag is looking a little bit strange, but that's okay. We'll stand on it. We'll take it. Let's refill that wand, and then let's do some tests. I've got some stuff in the bag that we need to do. We could always upgrade the staff. We could go back and upgrade the Abyssalcraft staff so we have the better version. Although I can do that off screen. I hope y'all don't mind if I do that. The staff ritual is pretty straightforward. It's not that complicated. I believe all it really does is it makes the staff so when you click on it, instead of getting 1 energy, you instead get 2. And then every time you upgrade it, you get more energy for hitting enemies with it. We do eventually need the full version, though. Where is it? Yeah, here. It eventually turns into Staff of the Gatekeeper, right? The bigger version, the Omethal Staff of Rending, becomes the Staff of the Gatekeeper, the Staff of Jahazar, Gatekeeper of the Abyss. So this is both, what this essentially is we combine our staff with the final form of the key, and it essentially collapses both the key that we use to make the portals and the staff that we use to harvest energy into one object, which is the Staff of the Gatekeeper. We're eventually going to want to do this, so we do need to upgrade to the staff, right? And it's upgraded like this, and essentially each dimension we go to, we collect some resources from it, and then use it, we rub it on the staff to make it better. The amount of energy needed to collect doesn't actually increase, but I think it just makes it better at collecting, is the way that goes. I can do the Abyssal Ritual off screen though. It's not a big deal. I think I already have everything I need for it in my bag. It's just a Shadow Gem, 4 Abyssal Stone, 3 Corallium, and then the Staff of Rending to get the Abyssal Staff of Rending is essentially how that works. Let's do the Coalstone stuff and everything else real quick, and then let's go to the Twilight Forest, because there is something I want to do in the Twilight Forest. I don't know if we have time, but we will push, we'll try and be quick, which never works out for me, ever. That's not how that works. But I want to try and get into the thing. The night metal stuff, because that's the only thing we don't have that will let us get the angel ring. By the way, the angel ring is we could make it if we had 2 bars of night metal, which is a better version of iron. It's like steel essentially from the Twilight Forest. Just to show this off, just so you can see what it looks like, what it is. I was looking for solutions to the King Charger problem, which is I have some King Chargers in soul vials, but I only had 2. There's several items that we need to craft that require a charger ring, which is itself a content tweaker item that costs 6 charger plates, which are made from melting charger flesh in the Tinker's thing to make liquid charger. And then you need a ring of flying squid, which is what I'm using to jet around. And then you need 2 soul vials with King Chargers in them to make the charger ring. It's needed to make the angel ring, the flugel tiara, the Swiftwolf's rending gale, and then some of these are also used to make things, like Swiftwolf's rending gale is used to make the ring of Arcana. The flugel tiara is used to craft the core of God. And I think the angel ring, there's aesthetic changes to the angel ring, but I think there's something we can... Yeah, an angel ring is used to make the Proxima artifact as well. So we're going to need quite a few of the the chargers, the king chargers, and it was a bit of a problem. Here's my solution to it. I think this is the simplest solution. I just wanted to show this just so you can see it. It's built over here. It's very small. So industrial foregoing has a thing where you can essentially, it's called a mob imprisonment tool, or a morb, okay? And it's essentially a Pokeball. And you can make them. They're pretty cheap. And if you take an industrial foregoing morb with a creature in it, and then you put it in a mob duplicator, the duplicator is pretty easy to craft. It's just some plastic, some nether warts, 2 magma creams, 2 emeralds, and a redstone. Okay. It takes power, and then it takes essence, which is the industrial foregoing version of liquid XP. Okay, so you can use the fluid converter, the fluid dictionary converter, to turn liquid XP into essence at a 1-to-1 ratio. So it takes power and liquid essence, and then you can duplicate any creature captured in a morb by just turning the machine on. It also has a range add-on of 7, which I only did to make it so that they would spawn around this instead of spawning. Without that, the range is literally just the top of the machine, which could be a little awkward. I just wanted to show this. If I turn this on and have it so it's running, yep, there we go. Now king chargers are starting to spawn in, and it will spend power and essence to make them. And that is how that is. This is how I got extra king chargers. So this is what we will be doing. I think this is the simplest way. Let me hide that work area. I think this is the simplest way to duplicate mobs. It's certainly among the cheapest if you need a lot of mobs for whatever reason. A lot of one mob. But we have couple things we're going to do before we go to the Twilight Forest. So first things first, I want to do this before I forget. Okay, we have something to do in the Nether that's very dangerous. But it needs to be done, and it needs to be done for the sake of my Thaumcraft research. I was wondering if I could get away without doing it, but as far as my own looking into it shows, the answer to that appears to be no. So Thaumcraft is a trap, not in the sense that Abyssalcraft is. Abyssalcraft is much ruder about it, in the sense that Abyssalcraft outright tells you to use liquid corallium and liquid dread and dreadium infected things as weapons without even warning you a little bit about what the side effects of that are, the biome changing. But Thaumcraft does essentially try to bait you into into letting flux overflow. However, you have to let it overflow to progress in Thaumcraft research. Now, in order to get to the level of what we need to start mass producing those warp cleansers that he's added to this pack, we do need to overcome, I think, that hurdle of magical research. Flux. I have been monitoring a strange build of magical energy in the area. It seems to be a form of dirty vis that I have named Flux. It shows as an ominous dark bar on my thermometer. I now know what those purple puffs are when I occasionally see what I am being careless. It is essentia spilling into the atmosphere and becoming flux. Pure essentia, it seems, should not be directly exposed to the aura. I'm not exactly sure what this negative effect this will cause, but I've noticed that flux seems to clog the local aura, preventing vis from replenishing naturally. Pictured as a thick layer of scum on a natural pool of clean water. The local aura has a point at which it is filled, and flux seems to count towards this capacity. More alarmingly, it seems to take precedence over vis, and I suspect it can probably exceed this natural limit. I'm not sure what will happen when flux overflows, but it's bound to be interesting. This is the trap. This is bad. You don't want that to happen, but you have to let it happen to progress in your research. Let the flux build. We're going to let flux overflow deliberately, but we're going to do it in the Nether, far, far away from anything we care about, because I don't want to deal with it. So I've set up a cauldron over here, way out here in the boonies. Hello, Infernal. I'm about to wreck your neighborhood. And here it is. This was originally a wizardry little thing. I tore up all the stone and replaced it with regular stone instead. So normally you can't place water in the Nether, but Thaumcraft is a little bit funny in that regard. If you were to place water in the Nether normally, basic Minecraft 101, it vaporizes because it's super hot here. However, you can, I just put that bucket back on the table and didn't mean to. You can bucket it straight into a cauldron though, or at least you can do it to the crucibles. So check this red matter. Red matter has 500 of that one element, 500 fire, 168 gemstone, and then 168 greed. That's not the stack. That's each individual red matter has that on it. So the full stack is that, all of that times 64. We're about to nuke this place. Y'all might wanna stand back. This is gonna get spicy. But I want my thermometer so I can examine whatever it is that comes out of this. Actually, no, the thermometer is gonna need to be on my tablet because we put it on the tablet. Foul. There we go. We are about to overload this cauldron to high hell. This is a very bad idea, but it's necessary to continue the research. I need to do this to be able to successfully make some of the stuff that we're going to need to progress. So, bottoms up. Oh, that's bad. Oh, that's bad. When that starts evaporating, oh, look at the vis. Look in the corner. You see the thing going up on the upper left. You see it, that purple slowly filling up the bar. That's exactly what we're talking about. Oh, it's coming. It's coming. Uh-oh, ladies and gentlemen. Uh-oh, SpaghettiOs. Let me pour myself a drink and take a sip. This is going to get spicy. How to pollute your local hell for fun and profit. Who would win, capitalism or hell? Find out next time on Dragon Ball Z. Yep, it's still going. It's definitely enough to overflow. For sure it's enough to overflow. I should probably stand back. I don't actually know what this is going to happen when we build it up. I just know that this is necessary to complete this part of the quest and continue pushing into the more advanced Thaumcraft stuff. I was wondering if I'd be able to get to the warp cleansers and taint cleansers without it, but you can't. This is a necessary step, so I figured we'd do it on camera. I have a sense of impending doom. I think this is going to cause a portal to open. I think this is going to make a rift. It basically has to at this point, right? Like, that's a crazy amount of taint. Or a crazy amount of flux. Come on. Come on. You're right there. You're right there. Come on. What's the matter? Oh, it's still going. Is that not an overflow? What on earth could the book possibly be asking for if not that? What more do you want me to do? Is the degree of this going down? Is it, or the aura? No, it's stuck at 115. I'm not entirely sure what we're doing. Has it completed? Does that count? Have we done it? Let the flux... How does this not count? What have we... Let the flux build. Buddy, it can't build much more than this. Like, what do you want? I guess this is taking a while. We'll chunk load this and maybe come back. I wonder what would happen if I broke that. I don't know what would happen if I broke that. And maybe that's what it wants. Does it need it to, the thing to stop? It's definitely overflowed. It is overflowing the top of that bar. It is still counting even though it is maxed out. If that's not an overflow, I don't know what is. Why is this not giving me the progress? Is it because there's so much in it? Let me try breaking it real fast because I can always make more. Yes, hello? Greetings. Don't tell me I have to do this in the overworld and it doesn't count if it's in the nether, because I did this in the nether specifically. There's nothing new to scan. 49, 48. The flux is slowly going down. Listen, that's 21,000 flux. If that doesn't count as an overflow, I don't know what does. Okay. I don't know why that didn't count. I feel like that definitely should have. I guess we'll come back later. I'll leave this chunk loaded, though. But I thought for sure that would cause something to happen, some kind of reaction. I thought we would have something occur, but I guess not. Shows what I know. Maybe I need to do it not in the nether. Maybe doing it in the nether, it doesn't count for whatever reason. We'll go over here real fast and rob this, though. I'm very close, by the way, to making the first key to go in there. I'm very, very close, actually. If I was willing to devote like 40 minutes of stuff on screen, we could do it on screen. Unfortunately, that's not going to happen, so it'll probably have to be left until next time. But we essentially have everything we need to make the first key. Not the last key, but the first one. Come on, let me in. Because this is actually pretty valuable. These little rooms, you get a free Altar of Corruption. These chests also have good stuff in them. A Corrupted Pickaxe, a Miron Knife Blade. I haven't made a Shuriken, but I guess I could. Efficiency, Unbreaking, Fortune, Mending, and then a chest that says no bookshelves. I'm not sure why that sheet of paper says no bookshelves, but there's always a sheet of paper in those chests that says no bookshelves. I don't know why. But in it goes. I guess we will head home then. I was hoping for something spectacular to happen, but maybe it doesn't count if you do it in the nether. I don't know. So let's go ahead and do some of the other things that we have available. So we have some more coal stones to be using here. We've also got some essence. I want to do the coal stones, then we're going to go to the Twilight Forest and try and do a little bit of the Twilight stronghold, the thing in the woods. Because I need night metal to progress. We need night metal to make that that ring. So this is another coal stone that you can make, similar to the skeletal coal stones. It's pretty easy to make these. They were quite cheap, actually. They only needed some crystals. Yeah, let's teleport to the skeletal coal stone area. These coal stones, there's quite a few coal stones, and some of them are very expensive. These were... Where are you? Flux Coalstones. They're made from pure Flux crystals, charged Certus Quartz crystals, and then an Ender Shard. Now, the reason I have 3 of them is because I want to test something. This skeletal Coalstone, it gave me the Hot Springs Bee, which is quite useful. However, a lot of the things that are customized and the loot that's delivered to you via Abyssalcraft crate, it seems to be fixed. Like every time I go to like one of the Thaumcraft UFOs in the Twilight Forest, that box has the exact same loot in it, right? It's the same loot on those Sky Crown locations in the Aether. It's always one of the Dark Star crystals, right? I want to know if the call stones can give you different loot or if the loot is fixed. I didn't want to make another skeletal because it's a little bit complex to make. You have to make the meatballs and then trade the currency. Since the fluixes are relatively cheap, what I wanted to do was I could make a couple of these, and then I thought we'd use them and see if anything different falls out of these, whatever it is. So let's go ahead. You got to be in the end to make a... Okay. All right. That's fine. Wait, no, not home. Let's go to the stronghold then, and we'll go to the end. I wanted to use these and see if anything, like if I use all 3 of these and then it's the same loot each time, I will know that the coalstone rewards are fixed as well, and I won't have to worry about making another skeletal because I got the one thing from it. Let's go to the platinum strip mine. This is what I was using to get platinum before I gained the ability to grow it with seeds, which is a much more useful and powerful ability. Let's go to the surface, and we will use these call stones and see what comes out of them. And we'll see, more importantly, if different things come out of that box or if it's the same. Fascinating. Okay. These are made of skystone. Placed down structure, arbiter structure. Okay. The arbiter must defeat him. Only I can defeat him. He must be stopped. He has come to Terra. What? The arbiter must defeat him. He has come to Terra. He must be stopped. He's come to Terra. Okay, I think it must be read this way. The arbiter must defeat him. Only I can defeat him. He must be stopped. He's come to Terra. Okay. A Gorgon Queen. Okay. And what are you used to make? Meatball combs. Of course, you make meatball combs. You're used, which is used among other things. It makes the Gorgon head. Why would that be? What are Gorgon heads used for? Nothing. They're used to make the cursed organic matter, but we're so far beyond that it's irrelevant. What? Is it something that I don't know about? Enchantments, bee produce. Gene isolation. Genetic imprinter. What? I don't know. Gorgon larva. Are you used to craft something? No. I don't know why this exists. I don't know what the purpose of this is. But that's interesting. Okay. Let's use the other two nearby and see if something different comes out of that chest. If not, if it doesn't, then I will know that that I don't need to make another skeletal callstone. Gorgon Queen. Okay, I'm starting to think that that this loot is also fixed. I suspect it is. I strongly suspect it is. Is there anything in the ceiling? Oh, there sure is. Isn't that cute? Wait a minute. I am glad I checked that. I wonder what's in here. Pure flux crystals. Interesting. Interesting. Okay, we'll use the other one because we have it, but I'm very confident nothing's going to come of it. I'm very confident now that it is just going to be... I wonder, are we the Arbiter? Is that the Arbiter? He's come to Terra, he must be stopped? Or is Terra already being invaded by the extra-dimensional army and we're too late to stop that? I don't know, I guess we'll see. But this does make me want to go back to the skeletal. I know I didn't said I was going to dig it up later. I think we should dig that up now and see if there's a hidden chest on the skeletal callstone structure as well. Just to try, just to see. I'm just going to go up to the top and dig down because I think that's faster. This is a great way to get more pure flux crystals if you know about it. And you get a Gorgon Queen in the bargain for free just cause. Okay, let's go home. And I think, yeah, we'll go home and then we will go to the glacier again and break some of that thing. Let me go to the skeletal callstone and see if there's a chest or a crate hidden in the grounds next to it. Was this all there was to it, or is there more than meets the eye here? No, this looks like this is all there was to it. I don't think there's anywhere they could have stashed a thing, unless it's under one of the columns. No, it doesn't look like it. Okay. Well, that's fine. Okay, let's go to the Twilight Forest and see if we can speed run the that, because I've already found it. I've located the fortress. The fortress is in the Forest of Darkness. You can't get in there until you have until you've defeated. I think you have to defeat the Hydra to get to the forest. Is the way that works. So let's go ahead. They're everywhere. Run. Oh, it's this. Sometimes these are fake spiders, sometimes they're real. This appears to be a real spider event because they can hurt me, but that's okay because I can shoot giant nature lasers out of my face. That is, I will admit, a lot of spiders, though. They also don't despawn, which means running away is largely pointless, unfortunately. It doesn't really help you. They'll just stay in my house until I kill them. Get out of here. Get out of here. Okay. Let's go to the Twilight Forest real fast and jump into the dungeon. Ironically, we don't even really need to get far. As long as I can get 4 night steel, we can just come back because we don't really need more than that. We'll need to progress further eventually, but the night steel is the thing holding us back. It would be really cool if we could end this on crafting the angel ring. I think that'd be very cool, and I'm gonna try. Let's go ahead and put all this away. That's literally what I need in my inventory, by the way, the seeds. This is what's necessary, the Supreme Essence and the Tier 4 crafting seed. We have already done it. So the stronghold is in these woods. Let me warp to the big hill and I'll show you. So these woods are very, very big and dark. They are, go figure. It's north. It's dead north. Okay. And you can't even go in here unless you've killed some previous bosses. Your pathway is simply barred. And this is it. This is what it looks like from the sky. It is a solid canopy of leaves. You cannot get through it. Don't try. It'll keep you out until you've legitimately beaten the bosses. I also want to show, while we're in a place where I can show it off. This I did make one of these. This is something from Extra Botany, a mana steel airship. Mana steel, right? It's made from 5 mana steel, a mana tablet, and then 2 dragon's breath, which is what you get from bottling the Ender Dragon's breath attack. So the mana steel airship doesn't work unless you have a mana tablet in your inventory. It costs mana to use, but essentially it's a boat that lets you fly, and I just think that's really cool. Now this isn't as fast as the speed we can go if we have a good clip on our glider. And unlike the glider, this isn't free. This is costing mana at a pretty decent rate. You can see the mana being drained from the tablet, right? However, this mana steel boat can be upgraded several times. Elementium, which is what happens when we throw mana steel through the gateway portal, the Elven gateway portal, there's an Elementium airship, and then the Elementium airship can be upgraded into a Terra Steel airship. It can also be directly converted into an Elytra, I guess, if you need more Elytra for whatever reason. I assume that the better versions of this are either more efficient or faster, perhaps both. So I just wanted to show that. I think it's very cool, and I'm going to upgrade this and try and make the better ones once we open the gateway portal, and I can trade stuff with elves. Because that might ultimately end up replacing the hang glider. For fast travel, because I think the Angel Ring does allow creative flight in Minecraft, but creative flight isn't always the fastest way to have directional travel. Tiny birds, these are adorable. I kind of want to catch one and bring it home to perhaps populate the void world. There we go. Tiny bird. There we go. I can always mass produce those by using the exact same thing I just showed you. There's the stronghold. It's over there. Anyway, this is all very, very dark. It's not because I have my my helmet on. That's giving me night vision, but this is super dark normally. This is what you're looking for when you get in here, is you're looking for this, because this is the surface part of the dungeon. The Night Stronghold is below. It's underground. We are going underground. You're also going to need trophies. The trophies that the bosses have dropped up until this point, these heads that you can mount on walls, you need them. They're used to enter. There is a portal here, a stronghold shield that's blocking the way. There's also a trophy pedestal here. This only opens when that is... Is that a red one? I'm sorry, I want a red one too. I'm just out here collecting things for my base because I think they're pretty. Are you a different kind of tiny bird? No. You're the same kind of tiny bird. Does that mean tiny birds will randomly generate different colors? That is worth researching. Anyway, let's use one of our heads for this. You do get the head back. It's not that big of a deal. I'm going to use the Naga head. There we go. And I believe you can take it back. Yep, you can. You can take it back. And that opens it. Trophy to champion. I am a trophy to champion because I used a trophy to get in. Any of them work. Any of the trophies up until this point will work for that. Now, let's go in and do a little bit of exploring. This is kind of what we want to see, is these helmet crabs. I also assume this is what he meant when he said crabs originated from another dimension, because these are the only crabs I know of from Twilight Forest, are these sort of hermit crabs. Essentially, the idea is this was a stronghold of valiant knights, but they are gone, and now it's just overrun with creatures that use their armor as the crabs use them as a home, right? That's their helmets. And some of the goblins also use the tools as toys, and you'll also see like literally two goblins in a trench coat walking around in a chest piece, which is pretty funny too. They're kind of dangerous. You have to break the armor off of them before you can damage them. I kind of want to woot shard a helmet crab because they drop shards. They also drop fish, but they drop the helmet piece shards that can be melted down. There's one of the dudes. He's pretending to be a knight, and he's block and chain goblin, and he's got the yep, and he's gonna drop an armor shard. Armor shards, if you collect 9 of them and put them together, you get an armor shard cluster. Armor shard clusters are used to craft night metal ingots. You can also get them from other things. That is the primary purpose of it. And we are actually going to, I think, we will pull out. Go ahead and put that up. Let me once again pull out my old reliable, which is the scanner, because we're looking for treasure chests here. There's a boss here as well, obviously. There's a boss everywhere in the Twilight Forest. Bosses for days. But I specifically want the loot. I will take the boss if I see him, but I mostly want the loot. It doesn't look like there's anything in this direction, although this does go down. Looks like we kind of want to go this way. Get wrecked. Oh wait. Oh, nice. The wand is ready to upgrade. Sweet. I can get a master one. This is what I meant when it is 2 goblins in a trench coat. It's literally a goblin and then another goblin standing on his head. The only way to beat this dude, upper goblin knight, is to break the threads on his back to pop them out of the armor, or you can just hit them with overwhelming damage, and they both die. The goblins stacked on each other's shoulders are actually pretty dangerous as far as enemies are concerned. They can be a little bit of a handful, but 1, I have magic, and 2, I'm permanently invisible, so my trick is better than theirs. My trick is actually substantially better than theirs, so I'm not terribly concerned. Okay, looks like we're coming up on some chests in here. Ooh, the good music is playing. The fairy tale music. Listen. You can hear them snickering. There's also a room in here in the dungeons in the night stronghold that essentially is supposed to be like some kind of night smeltery, and it's got a huge cluster of like ore in a ball hanging over a lava pit, and you can mine it. But of course, it's risky because you could fall into the lava, which I think is pretty cool as well. I don't know if we're going to be able to get enough to get our 4 night metal. We are getting the Darkwood tier because I do have that model equipped. You see how the data module for deep mob learning is going up? We are making progress on it. Ooh, the goblins are out in force. That dude's friend got shot off his shoulders and he never saw it coming. I should actually probably stop using this specific wand because it's ready. I should switch to this other wand now so I can get progress on this because we're going to need 2 master ice wands. One to turn into a sword of ice and another to keep so we have it. So I'm going to start putting work on this one now instead. Ho, ho, ho. You know, considering this isn't some kind of Christmas-themed thing, that's a pretty good evil elf laugh. I feel like Icica could definitely have used that chuckle for some of their snowmen and other little critters in it. I think that's a much more convincing evil elf laugh. Is that enough? Holy crap, I think it's exactly enough. We could leave with that, but we're not going to. Let's see if we can find the boss and kill him. I know we're... I think if I've kept track of time correctly, we should be reaching around the 3-hour mark. We will try and rush through. I don't think I have anything else in my bag of tricks that I wanted to do besides setting all of this up and doing it. Next time we will have the other wormhole prepared. Hopefully I can do the angel ring on camera. I'll upgrade the Staff of Rending to its next level off camera. I don't think that needs to be done where people can see it. I don't think it matters. Everything else... Oh, I didn't explain Betweenlands alchemy. We were going to go to the Betweenlands and fight the mummy and everything. Okay, we don't have time for that though. That's something we'll reserve for next time. Because I still haven't found the... that specific element. I haven't gotten into the alchemy for the Betweenlands, so it's fine. It's fine to delay that for a little bit. We'll do that next time. We'll take care of some of the dungeons, and we'll see if I can put together what we need to summon the peat mummy. It's not the other things that are a problem. It is the... Okay, yeah, the mummy bait. The shimmering stone is easy. The animated tar beast heart is easy. The sludge ball is easy. The Armanus is the hard part. So like the mod itself tries to explain to you, alchemy in the Betweenlands is randomized. For every world seed, it's different. Different substances can be ground up into powders of themselves, and then those powders have effects. The powder effects are randomized per seed, so it's, in theory, if you used my world seed, you would know everything that the goblins are cowards, by the way, and they run away if someone dies near them. They are only brave in groups. They're also being killed by an invisible monster, so I guess that's a little bit more fair. But if you used my seed, you could get the same results I get, is the idea, but it should be different for everyone. You have to use experiments to try and figure out which powders of substances produce which effects. There are certain ones that are always the same. The sort of corruption effect always is found on sludge substances. That's always true. things you get from the sludge, from the sludgian, the corrupted sort of goo. It always has like that corrupted goo rot element. Uh, each of the three gems, the red, green, and blue gems that you can find and purify the deposits of them, they always have a fixed element associated with them as well. They are always a specific thing. But oh, and spirit fruit from the tree are also fixed, specifically because there's two elements that you need to create a potion of healing in Between Lands alchemy, and spirit fruit always has those two elements in it. So you can always use spirit fruit as a really cheap way to make potions of healing using the Between Lands alchemy system. That's by design. Everything else is randomized. So you need to experiment to figure out what's what. I need to find what has Armanis, and then I need to distill it and extract it into into a bottle, and that is part of what makes the mummy bait. So the other three things we already have, but the Armanis is going to require some experimentation. I'm going to have to use the mortar and pestle. I'm going to have to grind up some things. We're going to have to go looking. We're going to have to try and find the thing. Oh, you can actually see on the map. You can see that's the room I was mentioning that I talked about. That's the room that has the thing suspended over a lava pool. In fact, can we see the boss room from here? Not really. It's kind of all obscured. It's a little bit rough. We can't really see. You can see the room I mentioned. You can't see anything else. I think there are treasure chests in that room, so maybe looking for the chests would be a good way to find it. That might be the room down there. I'm not sure. Okay. This has just led us in a big circle. I wonder if we just went down, if we kind of cheated a little, what would happen if we just started digging through walls. I'm a big fan of breaking mazes and strongholds. Just go through walls, my man. Just don't obey the rules of mazes. Smash through. Obedience is for dogs. Are you a man or will you die a beast? I think we've gone in a circle. We have. Let me try going the other way. Being invisible is really handy, by the way. Da 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 da. Ha ha ha. Ooh, I think, is that it? Yeah, I think this is it. That's the room that has the boss. Though it appears to have been disrupted slightly by the spawning of this place. I think this may have broken it, but we'll see. As long as the spawner's there, we can do it. So we're about to fight the ghosts of the knights who lived here, as opposed to the critters that live here, so we're just going to go on in. I don't know if the ghosts can take damage from magic. If they can, good. If they can't, it sucks to be us. This does feel very Legend of Zelda-y, in my opinion. And as you kill them, the ones that are left get stronger and stronger. They like inherit the health of the ones that have fallen. So the last one is super beefy. He's also super dead because, unfortunately, it turns out they weren't immune to magic, though, which, I mean, is all that really needs to be said. Also, I think it's really interesting that in the tomb, there's always a nether portal, like, embedded in the wall. So, Twilight Forest doesn't have any lore associated with it, per se. But it does have implications. It has insinuations it makes, especially in the place we're going to go next, which is the Urghast Tower, or the Carmonite Tower. This dimension had like wizards who were also engineers and scientists who were doing experiments, and they did something they shouldn't have. Like, they accidentally opened a portal to some kind of super hell, and the Urghast came through, which is Meant to be not killable. However, their design on that it was just to give it tons of health. So in modded Minecraft, it's possible to kill it, but you're supposed to fight it almost. It's like a Ghostbusters thing. You have to lure it over ghost traps that have been set up to try and contain it by the scientist wizards who were there, and then flip switches to suck it to vacuum it, and then you can. It's vulnerable when it's being vacuumed, and you can hit it. Um, they did stuff with carbonite that they were experimenting with magical substances and like portals and things. They did stuff they shouldn't have. And we get the Night Phantom trophy, and then the Phantom armor is never lost on death, magic protection. We get the Nightly swords, extra damage to armored targets, a Nightly pick, which is both a pick and an axe, extra damage to armored targets, mending. We get the Night Phantom thing, and we also get their plate, which has repellent, shock absorption, magic protection. Quite good, quite nice. I think we're gonna bounce. I think that's gonna be it. We've definitely got enough armor shards to make the seeds. So I think what we'll do is I'm gonna go down here and we're gonna do Night Boss Room. It's too many O's. I'm sorry to take you away from the cool lullaby fairy tale sounds. I do like the music in this dimension. Still wish it would play more often and a bit more loudly, but I've got the volume on max, I promise. It's very quiet for me too, and I don't know why it's doing that, but we're just going to go straight home from here. We're going to make the seeds. Well, hello again, spiders. We're going to make the night metal seeds, and then I'm going to make, I think we'll try and make the thing. Yeah, because we have everything we need just about. And we'll make the angel ring and probably stop there, I think. We'll stop on the angel ring is what we'll do. And next time I should have another wormhole catalyst ready because it's literally the exact same recipe, but it just uses deep blue matter instead. And maybe next time it might be the last time you see this base. I don't know. Like, commit this to memory. I quite like it. I like what I did with the place. Let me know what you guys think. Or don't. It's fine too. But I quite like the aesthetic, the diorites, the copying the sort of Thaumcraft brick and wood. The things. I quite like it. I think I'll use a lot of this in the new base in the void with the diorite, andesite, and the granite. It's very pretty. But this may be the last time you see this base. So let's go ahead and make the night metal real quick. There we go, and that's going to make 4 shard clusters. We have just enough. And then we can cook these shard clusters, and they should turn into night metal ingots. These are the molten furnaces I mentioned that came from Divine RPG. They came from the Dungeon of Arcanum. They're essentially exactly like a vanilla furnace, except they don't need fuel. They just cook things for free. So we're going to use that. That's going to turn it into 4 night metal ingots, and then I will use that to make the seeds so we can grow an infinite amount of night metal as we please. I'm going to take a sip of my drink because my throat hurts. Okay. Night metal. Night metal. Night metal. Night metal. And the Urghast Tower is actually in the center of that forest we were in. Or actually, no, I think the essence has to be in a cross shape, doesn't it? It's in a plus shape, and it's these that are in the corners. But we couldn't have gone there until we defeated the night phantoms. So that gives us night metal seeds. So we can now grow night metal as much as we want. Very nice. Take the ardite seeds. Don't need them. Let's go ahead and do this, and we'll start growing it. I'm going to use time in a bottle to accelerate this and try and get some, because we only really need 2 bars to do what we want to do. Boop. All right. There we go. And I guess we'll put this other stuff away while we're here. I don't think there was anything else I had in my bag of tricks besides doing the stuff in the Between Lands, which we don't have time to do. I guess one thing we can do while we wait for this to cook is we can use our scrolls to decrypt some of these spells, because now that I have the wizard in my house, I bought a ton of scrolls of identification from him. We can definitely use these to, like, identify some of this magic that we have, which of course has to be in my inventory when we do it. Put that there. Let's see. Let's start with the Twilight Forest spells, because we've got a couple. So many that we're starting to overflow, actually. Did we have any in here? Yeah, we do. We've got a few spells in here. This is from a plugin that adds Electroblob stuff to the Twilight Forest, which I think is pretty cool. Annihilation, Call of the Horn, Moonworm, Transformation, Summon Skeletal Druid, Fire Jets, Ice Bomb. Okay. Annihilation is a master level spell. We're not casting that indoors. That sounds dangerous. Call of the Horn is a master level spell. I think that summons the phantoms that we just fought to fight alongside us. I think that's what that does, and if that is, that's pretty cool. Moonworm, I think, launches one of those glowworms. You haven't seen them yet, but you can make a thing in the Twilight Forest. Those sort of ladybug glowing beetles on the sides of the trees. You can create like a slingshot that launches their larva and puts it on the wall, and it's glowing. It's like a light. It's a way to make a ranged light source. I'm imagining that's just a magical version of that. Transformation, I don't know what that's going to do. Summon Skeletal Druid, self-explanatory. Fire Jets sounds like that's the thing in the swamp that has fire shoot up from the ground, but I can't imagine why it would be a master level spell, so I'm probably misunderstanding what that does. Ice Bomb, I'm guessing, is the exact same thing that Yeti has. It's a magical version of that. Just throw the bombs that he has. We have two apprentice spells that we have: an Ironwood Heart and Summon Goblin. Okay. Alrighty then. And what's this spell? Force Orb. Okay. I think we will... Oh, I don't know. Just screw it. Dump it all in there. It's a problem for tomorrow. It's a problem for future me when I load this up and we're not on recording. I'll clean all this up later. Yeah, we'll just clean this up later. It's fine. It's fine to blow it off until tomorrow. Except for the part where now I don't have anywhere to put all this. That's fine. I'll just put it in there. I'm making an even bigger mess. Look at me. Look at me, ma. No hands. Okay. What all do we have that we can summon here? Let me put the two spells I'm interested in the bag. Call the Horn and Fire Jets. And we'll put Annihilation in there too, just for laughs. Okay. Don't really have a place to put these, so we're just going to put them here, I guess. Let's see. What do we have that we haven't identified? That. I honestly might start throwing some of these books out, because it's actually more trouble than it's worth trying to sell these things to him when he constantly goes into sales cooldown and he doesn't want to accept anything else from me. Once I decrypt all these, because they don't even have value in Thaumcraft. They don't even have, like, magical, like, they don't even have the magical element, which you'd think they would. You'd think they'd be like magic and order or something, but they're not. They're not pretty to order. Poison Bomb, Summon Skeleton, Life Drain, Fireball, Flame Ray, Snare. Nothing to identify. Force Arrow, Cure Effects, Fire Resistance, Ice Charge, Summon Spirit Wolf. Nothing to identify. Okay. I might... It feels like it's not cool enough for a normal episode, but I might have a thing where we go through like my 5.5 episode, my 5.5 episode, and I might just go through and test all of these magic spells on a recording that's only like 20 or 30 minutes long. just so we can go through all the magic. Because as far as I know, I don't think there's anybody on YouTube or anywhere else who has actually done a comprehensive discussion of what all these spells do. There's not there's not comprehensive, as far as I know, documentation on Electroblobs. I don't know where I would look to find that information. Force field, tornado, darkness orb, summon wither skeleton, blink. Containment, empowering presence, grapple, intimidate, dark vision, decoy. Sploosh, mark sacrifice, withering totem, radiant totem, kasploosh. I wonder if that radiant totem is that spell that absolutely wrecked me in Icica a couple episodes ago. Ocean burst, quake, seshiti. What level is that? Radiant totem is advanced. I feel like that would have been a master spell, since it just absolutely obliterated me. Lightning pulse, firebolt. But we'll see. We'll test that out. There is one more thing I want to do before we stop. Don't worry, it won't take long. But I'm glad I remembered before we went away, because I would have been sad if I had done that to myself. No. Yes. Okay. Let's see how much ironwood essence we have. Night metal. That's enough for 2. It ought to be. I'm imagining we make a donut out of it because that's what all the others are. Let's test it real fast. Are you a donut? Yes. You sure are. Fantastic. Thanks. Glad you asked. Go ahead and put that back. Give me 2 of these. We're going to make the angel ring. And then I'm going to show you the thing that I remembered, which is this. So, no, that is this, yes. There we go. So, let me take it out and put it in my inventory so I don't forget. My thing in Astral Sorcery is done. The leveling up process, once again, I strongly recommend to anyone who cares. Please put yourself on on VCO, because you gain XP by moving. It's the best one. You cap out at level 30. You can't go any higher than that. I currently am at 30. Okay. And remind me again, what else did we need besides the charger ring goes in the middle? But we needed Angel. What did we need for this? Ah, yes, a spirit fruit. So you cap out at level 30, and there's a perk tree similar to things you'd see in a normal RPG. Under normal circumstances, I always go for Spectral Wings in my build for Astral Sorcery, because Spectral Wings, normally when you have a VCO aligned Astral Mantle, which is the chest piece that Astral Sorcery provides. It's like a cape, it's a cloak for a wizard. It's pretty cool looking, actually. It has a unique design to it. I'll make one just for swag. Also, it can be super enchanted in this pack. But his enchanted one is unfortunately Amara. It's not VCO aligned. When you have a VCO aligned when equipped, what Spectral Wings does, the perk, is it makes it so instead of it being an elytra, it instead grants creative flight. Normally I go for that because it's one of the few ways to get creative flight in packs. However, because extra utilities is in and the angel ring is enabled, because you can disable the angel ring in extra utilities too if you think it's too OP. And a lot of people do, because the angel ring just straight up lets you fly like Goku. It's Dragon Ball Z flight. It's creative flight. You can just hover. Gravity, you defy it, right? It doesn't mean anything to you. Levitation, essentially. since this is in and it's on a ring slot, which is much cheaper than the chest piece slot. The chest piece slot is a huge deal. We only have one, right? And there's lots of other things we could put in it. But we have 4 ring slots, right? We have 4 ring slots, and plus, since this is an extra utilities thing, I believe extra utilities has support for putting things in your inventory and they affect you, because extra utilities is actually so old. I believe like a lot of packs that originally used it didn't have bauble installed, which is what gives you these bauble slots to put trinkets in. So, like, I think the angel ring even works if it's just straight up in your inventory. So, if needed, it could take up none of our accessory slots. I think. Don't quote me on that. So, there's no reason not to go for angel ring over VCO mantle. The problem that produces, though, the problem that gives us is, well, what am I going to do with all of my XP from Astral Sorcery? I can't just let it go to waste, right? Like, what does one do? Well, I have a thought, and I want to try and experiment before we stop today. Okay, goodbye, squid ring. Wave goodbye to it, it's gone. But say hello to angel ring. So I believe this will just straight up let us fly. I want to see, because I think it also can give you wings. Yeah, you double tap space, just like in creative mode, and you can just fly. Okay, that's pretty baller, and I think it can be combined with other things. We can use feathers to give ourselves angel wings, pink and purple dye to give ourselves butterfly wings, leather for bat wings, gold for gold rings, and coal and charcoal for like dark wings. I kind of want to try. What do the gold wings look like? I definitely probably want either the gold or the angel. Let me try those and see what they look like real quick. We can make feathers on the table, but we're going to have to go get nuggets. And this is purely aesthetic. This doesn't change anything about the way the ring works. Anyway, in Astral Sorcery, some of the perks, which I'll open up the book and show you, you can view your perk tree from the book. There are some pretty like advanced things you can do that'll change how you play the game in your perk tree. Usually I don't take those. I do not take them because I find them to be a little bit weird. The things that just overhaul how you play. But there's one that's caught my interest specifically because of the way I think it might interact with something in this pack. Aha! And look, it's actually even applying to us. See how I say it's in our inventory, right? You can see it more easily if it's like this. I have wings on my back, and it will work while in my inventory. It doesn't even have to take up a ring slot if I don't want it to. Now the real question is, can we just do this and change it to that? Yeah, we can. What does that look like? Ooh, that looks really cool, actually. And I think those are big enough that they would be visible around my armor. Yeah, they are. I think I'm going to go with the gold wings. I think I like the gold wings. I also think I like leaving that in my inventory, honestly, because sometimes I get that thing between dimensions where when you teleport between dimensions, extra utilities kind of forgets that it's in your bauble slot. Maybe that will stop if I keep it in my inventory. Anyway, the reason I went to all this trouble is to point out that if we go to perks, okay, let's talk about this. There is a perk. Okay, normally I go for, where are you? It's right here, Spectral Wings. The VCO mantle now grants flight instead of electric gliding, okay? I'm thinking about runic shielding, okay, which is over here. What this does is, runic shielding, the way it works, is it's essentially like a shield in a first-person shooter, like in Halo, right? In Halo, your health regenerates, right? If you take damage, it hurts you. I have thumb sickness. I should probably not stand around in my base and discuss the finer points of things. Let me go to my lab. So if I vomit thalmic slimes, it's not going to be in my house. There we go. Excuse me. Anyway, it's like shielding in a video game. It recharges over time. So it's like a bubble. All right. There's this invocation, which has nothing to do with Thaumcraft. Ignore that. This is Astral Sorcery stuff. Or wait, no, it is Thaumcraft compatibility. Interesting. 200% runic shielding, 75% less armor, 15% more elemental resistance. Your health is set to 1. Okay? This means you get tons of the runic shielding. You have less armor, you're more elementally resistant, and you are set to 1 health. Then these other things increase the amount of runic shielding you have. Normally, I never take this invocation. Okay? It is, in my personal opinion, kind of bad. Like, essentially, it converts all of your health into thing. In fact, it doesn't even convert it, because if it converted it, like, we would get tons of runic shielding because we have tons of health. Instead, it just increases your runic shielding by 200%, and then your health is set to 1. However, what I want to know is, what happens if I do that and then put the necklace on? Does this mean the necklace no longer takes effect and I am truly set to 1 health and that can never change? Or does it mean I can get massive runic shields and still have the heart amulet giving me hearts? I don't know, but we're going to test it, and that's what this Irradiant Star VCO is for. In Astral Sorcery, there's 2 kinds of stars. There's the Shifting Star and the Irradiant Stars. If you use a Shifting Star on yourself, it's made on the crafting altar, which is the first tier that's been upgraded. It resets your perks, but this also doesn't give you your XP back, so you start from square 1. Okay? However, the Irradiant Stars allow you to keep your XP, and they have to be aligned to one of the prime bright constellations, and they essentially allow you to, not only do you keep your XP, but you change what your very first thing is. So I'm VCO. If I used Irradiant Star Dissidia, I would keep all 30 of my levels, but I would lose this, and instead I would be over here, right, is what that is. So what I'm going to do on screen, because I'd like to see what this does, I suspect this isn't going to work the way I'm hoping it is, but I want to try. I want to level this to runic shielding, and then see what happens when I put on the necklace. So I suspect this will not work the way I want it to. I'm very certain it won't, actually, but I figure it's worth a try. And you see, by taking that +2 runic shielding, we now have a heart floating over our bar. You see that? That sort of paler golden heart? That is runic shielding. And that makes it so that if I take damage, that takes damage first, right? So let's see what happens if I do one of these. Ouch. We're now set to 1. Now, what happens? I appear to be tilted sideways for reasons I don't fully understand. But what happens if I do this? Nothing. Okay, so when it says it's set to 1, it means it's not going to allow you to cheese it. Okay, that's fine. That's all I wanted to know. That's why we do these tests. And I'm going to use the Irradiant Star, which has a cool animation. There we go. The light suddenly shifts. Now it is essentially, I'm back on VCO. I started on VCO, but essentially this resets my perks, but it also gives me all my perks back. It refunds it instead of destroying my XP. I sure hope this gets fixed when I quit and reload. If not, I guess we're going to look at the funny tilted man for the rest of this play, or until I figure out how to update the game world to the newest update version without destroying everything I've made. Shoutouts to anyone who can figure out how to help me with that. But I think that's going to be it. I think we've accomplished a lot. I don't want to look at me tilted anymore. I'm just going to cover it up with an invisibility cloak. We don't have to see it. There's clearly been some Shoggoth activity over here. I see a lot of slime. Now, the creative mode is super handy, but I can already tell I'm definitely going to want a faster way to travel. I think maybe the mana boats will be the way to go, the airships, either that or retaining the glider. But we are going to have to clean this up. He has clogged up everything so badly, I can no longer, it's not charging anymore. Wow, that Shoggoth just shoved my entire ritual site into his throat. What a rude fellow he was. Anyway, we've essentially done everything I wanted to do with the exception of the Betweenland stuff, but that was probably a bit too ambitious. We now have some things to work on. I can start working on some more advanced mythical resources stuff. I can try and make the Dimasera wormhole. We can go check that dimension and see what's in there. We have some stuff to get involved in. Knowing that entropy in the universe is always increasing, I can use magic and science to speed up this process as an area around a special torch. That sounds like an extremely dangerous thing to do, speeding up entropy in a local area. I would not recommend doing that personally, but hey, you do you. Yeah. There is actually one more thing. I'm sorry. I know. I'm going to let you go in a second, but there's one more thing we need to do. Excuse me. My throat is becoming strained. I apologize. Shadowland Mines bottom. So in environmental tech, which, if you recall, is this, the lenses, changing the type of lens that's in the bottom can change sort of the weight of the die roll. I wanted to show you this to show you how much I've gotten out of it. This is extremely lucrative for how much energy it costs. It's expensive to run, but it's also extremely valuable. We get tons of this. The way environmental tech works is you have to upgrade through different tiers. Tier 1, as you'll recall, is made using the litherite crystals, which we can craft directly, but they're super expensive. Tier 2 is made using erodium crystals, which are these purple ones. And the way environmental tech works is each void ore miner, which this is a tier 1, can mine up all of the crystals of the levels below it, the crystal that's equal to its level, and then one level higher. So to be able to upgrade to the tier 2 stuff, we're going to need to be able to make a tier 2 void controller and structure frames tier 2. This is tier 1. You can tell because it has green dots, the same color as the green tier 1 crystals, right? The same color as the litherite. If this was tier 2 structure frames, they'd be purple, like erodium, right? And you just go straight through all of the tiers, VIRO, right? It goes up from erodium, from litherite to erodium, to chironite, to palladium, to ionite, to aethium, and then to Lonsdaleite. Okay, and it also gets upgraded through structure tiers frame 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, right? And you also have to upgrade the mining head as well. Tier 1, then tier 2, like this, then tier 3, 4 and 5, etc. So, however, the first time you get erodium crystals, my recommendation is to make a crystal laser lens, which is expensive. It requires 6 blocks of erodium, which is quite a bit. I think we have enough to do this. I believe that is a sufficient amount. Actually, let me just do this. I'm sorry. No. This, yes. No, wait, no, we do. Yeah. So, normally you'd want to upgrade. However, the crystal, these different colors will change your odds of pulling up something. Like, for instance, the botanic miner, which mines up plant stuff, with a clear lens, your odds of getting grass with any particular interaction are 0.02%, which is really low. However, with the green laser lens, your odds are 0.37, right? So by changing the color of the lens, you can change what you're likely to get. The gold lens, surprise, the yellow lens, and the void ore miner, surprise, surprise, is better at digging up gold, glowstone, yellowite, energized netherrack, sulfur ore, and air crystals. Everything that's yellow is dug up better by the yellow lens, and so forth and so on. It's all color-coded, right? Guess what the red laser lens is best at digging up? Redstone, stabilized redstone, firestone, rubies, ruby ore, right? The crystal lens greatly increases your odds of digging up all of the crystals. Okay, on a level 1 miner, you have a 1.22% chance of getting a litherite crystal and a 0.92% chance of getting an erodium crystal. Okay, but once you upgrade to a crystal lens, that becomes a 3% chance to get litherite and a 3% chance, 3.5% chance to get erodium. Okay, that's way better odds. That's tripling the amount of your erodium, more than tripling the amount of erodium you're getting. So I strongly recommend you use your first batch of erodium to make a crystal lens, and then keep that on your miner for the future, which is exactly what we are going to do. Let me go ahead and put that up on top. And I'm going to go ahead and actually, I think we can just do this. We can take that, and then we can just hit them with one of these. Just do that. And that'll go straight into a crystal lens, and then I replace it. There you go. This is just a tip. Fun tips from me to you. Use your first batch of erodium to make a crystal lens. You will thank me later. I know you want to upgrade to tier 2s as fast as possible. I do as well, because the mythic void miners that are coming up next that he wants me to make, the tier 2 and tier 3 mythic void miners, they need higher structure frames. But make the crystal lens first. It's better in the long run to do that. And I'm not going to do it now, but off screen I'm going to come back here and throw most of this onto the table, because some of this has an EMC value, and this is getting disturbingly close to full. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of all that and put it on the table if I can. But we have the angel ring now, which is very good. We did a lot of stuff. I guess next time we'll do some Between Lands things. I'll explain some Between Lands things because I didn't get a chance to touch on it. I'll make more Terra steel off camera. Unfortunately, Tinker's Armory, which lets you make the armor, does not have compatibility with Terra Steel. However, Tinker's Construct, that lets you make the tools and weapons, does have Botania compatibility. So I think what we'll do is maybe next time I'll try and have the upgrades. I'll try and have the Elven Gateway Core rigged. We will try and push for the bow limb pattern to make our first gun, which isn't a gun, it's a crossbow, but trust me, it's a gun. It hits harder than any quote-unquote gun we've had so far in this pack, especially once I rub some nether quartz on it. And I think that's about it. There were some other things I wanted to cover, but we don't have time, and that is fine. It's okay to run out of time. I think that's going to be it for now. It's been fun. I hope you all enjoyed it. My throat hurts, and it is stormy outside, and it is very late at night. So I'm going to go ahead and drink my drink and go to bed. But I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you enjoyed checking out the Void World. Once again, sainagh, I really think there should be a mention that changing the X and Z coordinates of the portal to the void can screw it up. In fact, I'll even do it to show you, just so you can have a demonstration of it. If I pick this up and put it down here, wait a minute, because this place is very laggy, and click on it, it shouldn't have changed. It didn't, right? Because changing it on the Z-axis does nothing, right? That does nothing. However, if I were to do this, and we were to take it back to where it was originally, it will spawn me in a portal floating in the sky. Yes. Off to the side, in a different location. And since this portal to the void is indestructible, the only way to break it is to do this. This is the only way to clean this, is to do this, which kind of sucks. I just wanted to give a quick demonstration of what that is, so you know what I'm talking about. Make sure, message from me to anyone interested in playing this pack, make sure you know where you want to put that portal to the void down before you set it down to avoid having to deal with this problem entirely. Take those torches, and we will just do one of these. We'll go home. I'll toggle game mode back on. We'll place that back the way it was, and it'll correct itself when it's on the correct X and Z coordinates. But if you move it, it'll spawn new platforms and change its location in the void world, which is kind of annoying. That's a little bit irritating. But I think that's going to be it for me. Shutting down internal server. Oh, this has, as usual, been Meatballcraft Dimensional Ascension. Happy birthday, Notch edition. Happy birthday, Notch. Good night, dear listeners. Good night.